Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, guys. There is so much that's happened in the past week. I don't even know what bit to do. That's the crazy thing. Like, I could bring up the Lion King Daga joining Club Venus. I could bring up Starlight Kid having a conspiracy against her. I could bring up how wrestling media has no standards apparently, and you know the grift is real. I don't know. I could say a lot of things, but I'm
You
just
ain't
gonna
even
say I'm
touched
happy
on
to be here.
Unagi.
I didn't even bring up Unagi. Like Unagi
Unagi.
finally admitting, yeah, I got my ass fired, bro. Um, like so much has happened, and that's not even like bringing up like Sonata and Naito. You know what I mean? like, yeah. What a week! What a week!
Yeah, just one of those crazy ones. I tried to convince you to record early because I was like, this is going to be chaos, and I can already tell it's going to be chaos. So
Oh yeah.
let's have
To be
fun.
fair, you didn't want to record early. You wanted to do a special episode about DDM, and I will save my thoughts
Yeah,
on that
but
until
we
later.
could have covered like 5 different topics in one there, because you are going to speculate about where and like when,
Yeah.
where people are gonna go. We could have done that. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. This is precious time we don't have. So this show is brought to you by the 5 Star Network. Head on over to 5starnetwork.co for all of the latest articles and podcasts from around the wonderful world of pro wrestling. I forgot the plug, but you know what? We got it back there. Mainly check out the YouTube and the podcast platform because I don't think the website is even working.
No, the
So,
website just came back yesterday.
oh,
Um,
nice, very nice. It was
and
rebuilt,
I have
wasn't it? They like redid it.
yeah, I mean kind of. And I have an announcement. I have started a Substack because the website being down made me realize that I do not have all my articles backed up. So
Mhm.
I backed up all my 5 star articles on my Substack. It is in my link tree on my Twitter. I'll probably tweet about my Substack as well. Um, and also I talked to Pulse, and I'm gonna get some of my old Deadlock articles up on there as well, including ones that I never released. So I'm gonna be rewriting uh, some of those interesting ones. Y'all want to hear about Bo Dallas and NXT? I might release that. I wrote about like 4 years ago, but hell. Um, so yeah, check out my Substack and all that stuff. I've decided to be a writer again, or at least try. So that's fun.
I like it. Okay, yeah. Because on the podcast side, I know there was a new actress stage, and you know
Yes.
we support actress girls. So you can listen to that. I don't think there's been a new No Limit show in a while, but
No, we're
yeah,
gonna record one in the next couple weeks.
solid.
I have so many things to record. Like that's why I'm like,
Okay,
dying here.
that's fair. Yeah, because Scott wanted you on for something, or you wanted us both,
Yes.
and then was like,
Yes.
"No, I tried. It's fine. It's all right." So that
And I
was fun.
also am doing Puro Gems for the year-end stuff
Oof,
that just happened.
Puro.
Um, I yeah, he got me watching Oz Academy. Uh,
It was a
I
good Oz Academy
No, it was
match.
a good show.
That was good, wasn't it?
It
Did you?
was a good show. I mean, like, I watched the match that you're talking about. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
very good match. I also I liked most of the card that like the matches I saw that didn't include Ozaki-gun pretty much were all quite good. So like no complaints here. But yeah, a lot to watch, a lot to talk about with Peps over on Puro Gems in the next week or two. We're recording it tomorrow, so we'll see when it's up. Um, but yeah, like I said, check out my Substack. It has all of the old stuff, and there will be new stuff. I promise. I have them. I think I'm going back to the Mayu article. that Syuri
God
match
bless.
changed me. That Syuri
Okay.
match was a fucking experience.
Um, suppose with that we should go on to the world of Stardom, since you
Mm.
did bring up Syuri. There's nothing related to Syuri here to talk about, but there is news from Stardom. So they've
Speaking
announced
of
the cards.
Shuri, nothing to do with Shuri.
Yeah. They've announced the cards for this weekend, but I realize we will preview those anyway. So
Yes.
there's not much point. And we will also be touching on the pay-per-view card. So that is also not news.
Did they
Um,
put up the whole pay-per-view card, or is it just the
no,
top matches?
just the
Okay,
two
cool.
matches. So I
Gotcha.
guess the only actual news is that Stardom's running in America.
Mm,
Woo! Stardom American Dream is happening in the 2300 Arena on April 4th. I'm going to assume that is as part of WrestleMania weekend.
it
I haven't
is.
checked. I don't know when WrestleMania is. I'm going to assume it's that week.
I'm pretty sure it's like the 5th.
Okay. Um, so I mean, obviously, Stardom ran WrestleMania weekend a few years ago, before they kind of broke into
Or no, it's the
the
6th.
English
It's the 6th.
speaking market. 'Cause, like, I remember even back then, it was a very niche show, and they did Utami and Momo on it, and I was pretty hyped for it,
Yeah.
but obviously now, Stardom has a much bigger presence in America, for various reasons, the
They
five
did
and a
do a
half
good
star
number for
match,
that show. They
they
did.
did, yeah, they
I
did.
do remember them doing pretty well. Mainly because the novelty. I do think there's a bit more
Mhm.
attention on the company now. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so tickets seem to be selling really well, like, they're flying off the shelves, so it's kind of either you get in now or you might miss out. Um, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, I guess this is the time to run in America if you're gonna do it, is
Hmm.
Mania Weekend. It's kind of a guaranteed drawing
And
show unless you're really bad.
I think it's also uh the city is opportune, right? The reason why I am not going and the reason why I didn't go to the first one is because I don't really travel up to the northeast much.
Mm,
Just because it's out of the way. I'm a Midwestern boy. Uh and so like next year Mania is gonna be in Minneapolis, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like it's a sizable city, but it's in the middle of nowhere. So like this is like Philadelphia is a pretty opportune spot to send a bunch of Puro companies, right? Like it makes sense,
mhm.
just like New York made sense at that one point. Um, but yeah, I'm not. If anybody's one, I'm not going to fucking Philadelphia. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, see, I didn't understand the geopolitical, um, assignment
Geopolitical.
there of, Indianapolis versus Philadelphia, but
I said
you do.
Minneapolis. It's a different place. Um,
Oh, Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota. You
Oh,
know
I
about
see, yeah.
Minnesota? That's where all the uh. Didn't they send a bunch of AJW wrestlers there one time? Uh, to wrestle like
I
Debbie
do not
Malenko.
know. I have no idea.
I know that's
I
where
I
Debbie
only
Malenko
know the
broke out of.
Minnesota Timberwolves,
Okay. Yes.
so and
Same
now
place.
Brock Lesnar is from Minnesota, so that's really it.
Oh, yeah, I guess he is.
Um, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're running Mania Week. Everybody does it at this stage. My interest is if this is a thing that's going to continue. Because I don't know if Stardom alone really has the power to run that often in America without really running the
They
market
could
dry very quickly.
they could run Mania Weekend every year, I would say. Like
Oh yeah,
I
I mean,
like
look, if TJPW can do it, Stardom can do it, and that's nothing against
exactly.
TJPW. But they're both very well known among English speaking fans. So if DJPW can do it, then Stardom could do it.
Yeah. I think like I wouldn't do a strong, right? I wouldn't do it so
Mm.
that's like these standalone events separate from anywhere else, anything else in wrestling. It's like, hey, if they want to run one all in weekend, that'd be smart, like in England, I mean. Shit. Like,
That ain't
like that
happening.
I know it
That
ain't.
weekend is dead. Oh my god.
I know it ain't. But
But
you
you've
get what I
saved it
mean.
last time. Eve's cool. They might save it again.
That
But,
like
um,
some a destination wrestling
but yeah, I get you.
week type of thing. I wouldn't just be running, you know, randomly. Uh, Especially without New Japan, which this is like brought to you by New Japan, so we will see like what that entails. I imagine it means they're gonna get American wrestlers on the card, like they did
Yeah,
last time. It
I
should
thought
be
it said it was part of the multiverse at first, which would involve TNA,
no,
but I haven't seen
no,
anything about that, so I guess
no.
not.
I don't think it's the same. I mean,
But
I
I would
imagine
imagine
we might see like
TNA
a
is
Mayu
involved.
on the TNA show. You know what I mean? Like
That would
they
be
might
cool.
give a wrestler or two over to TNA for the multiverse show or whatever. But I imagine and I hope that the American wrestlers they bring in this time are better than last time. I'm looking at you, Britt Baker.
I mean,
Ugh.
I would assume you would ask Mariah May to come back in.
She
Surely
did
she'd be allowed.
already tweet like, let me team with Mina or Hana, please."
Yeah. So you presumably got Mariah, maybe Megan Bain. Um, you've got the strong girls
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say like a Trisha
Dora,
Dora,
Viva Van,
Hyan maybe.
Hyan. Yeah, I think that will be an American presence, but it'll definitely be better than last time. I mean,
Yes.
I haven't looked it up, but I can't imagine many of those women are still wrestling. Because some of them were random as hell. Like, didn't Kiona and Tora wrestle two like House of Glory regulars or something? Like something
Oh, yeah.
like I've never heard of since. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That was a weird show that last American card, but
They had
you know what?
the
It's fine.
the Oh, I forgot that they had Oedo Tai versus Stars go over Momo Nutami in the main event.
That's so funny. For people who don't remember as well, Momo Nutami like it like died for the finish, and nobody could see it. And at the time, that was a huge match because Utami had only lost like twice at most, and Momo was steamrolling the roster. So that was one of the biggest matches they
Holy
had,
shit.
and we couldn't see the finish.
I know we're kinda short on time, but this was a week before I moved to Florida, that show happened.
Oh wow!
'Cause I was like, "Where did I watch that show?" And I was like, "Oh, at my aunt's house." And I was like, "Holy shit, I was moving to Florida."
Wow.
But yeah, that's just a random thought. But yeah, like, I mean, I imagine it'll be a slightly better card than last time, cause like, at least, the bottom half of, cause like, the top half was fun, you know? Hazuki and Dust was fine, Momo and Utami was good, and the Stars Oedo Tai match is also very good. Uh, the dance, the last dance in, uh, America. No, I don't think it was. I think, they had the Supercard show a day later, so there was a dance then. So I lied. But yeah,
You
I'm
do.
excited. I mean, I'm not going, but I'm excited. I'm excited for my friends to be able to go and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to get to go and see the roster, and I mean,
Everybody who's able
for
should go,
Stardom, it's easy.
so
Yes,
so
yes,
that
go because
Stardom comes back to somewhere that
that
isn't
that's
Philadelphia.
true, and also there's no guarantee because Stardom came to England like a few years ago and then hated it so much they never came back.
Oh yeah.
And I at the time I was like, oh, it's fine, I can miss that, and they'll come back. And luckily I went because I had an existential breakdown the week before and booked the trip. Um,
Oh yeah.
because yeah, they've never been back. So just go if you can.
And what? Two of the
Just try
wrestlers
not to have the
retired.
existential breakdown. That is
Uh,
not. I would not recommend that aspect of it, but
yeah.
definitely go if you can. Um, but yeah, that's Stardom in America. I'm kind of interested in the fallout of that if they go more or if it's just a Mania weekend thing. Obviously we'll be here to preview the card, review the card. God, Stardom should ask us to do commentary. It'll be chill. They won't ask us to do commentary. They don't like us, but it's fine.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, uh, we don't grift enough. That's the issue.
you are throwing the shade. I'm a fan. How can I also be critical of anything? What do you want from me here? Critical thinking and fandom? How is
Who
that possible?
name one person who thinks critically and is also a fan.
I know, literally. You know what I mean? Like all these footballers who are pundits now, they hate the sport. They actually hate it. So it's.
Oh my god. If I didn't like wrestling, I would not
Yeah,
talk about wrestling.
yeah,
Hot take.
yeah. Maybe I don't know. Just a thought, but hey, that's pro wrestling for you.
Oh yeah.
That's all the news because we'll get to everything else anyway. So I guess we should just get into the review section of the show. There were two pay
Lots
per
of shit
views last
happened.
week. Yes, two pay per views last week because we recorded early. So we have both of those pay per views. Stardom then ran three house shows. They uploaded two of those within the last 24 hours. So, uh, yeah, that was fun. I don't know about you. I skimmed through the battle royals to pick up on the key stories.
Yeah.
And I watched the championship clash thing.
I didn't
But
watch either of the undercard matches, unfortunately.
okay, I watched one of them. Skimmed through the battle royals. Didn't get to see anything from the Osaka show. Was it Osaka?
Nagoya.
Nagoya. So I didn't get to see anything from the Nagoya
Which
show.
they decided to run a spur of the moment fucking tournament.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
Yeah.
We actually, there's a take to be had from that, so don't you worry. But first, time to review. On January 3rd, New Year's Stars 2024, New Year Stardom in the Yokohama Budokan. They drew 960 fans to this show, so that's down from like 1,600 when they did the Derby Day 1 last year. But obviously, that will happen when you run 3 big shows in the space of 7 days.
And also when the Triangle Derby is just not as interesting or stacked.
Yes, very true. So our opener was a Rookie of the Year tournament semi-final. Yuzuki beat Rana Yagami in just under 7 minutes with a rolling arrow.
That's
I
what
mean,
she calls it. Okay.
yeah, I was really into this. Just really well wrestled. Yuzuki continues to improve, which is incredible because she was already great when she started. Um, and yeah, if this isn't the start of her and Rana being like long-term enemies, then I don't know how. Like, I would be so upset because they just work so well together, and they are just such polar opposites that I'm like, yeah, they would definitely fight each other.
Yeah, I didn't get like a ton from this match, but I did think that it was just like, oh yeah, these two are really good. Like I think
Mm,
Rana might be uh closer to Yuzuki's level than I initially thought because I liked Rana, but I was like, okay, but like everybody, this is Yuzuki's company, right? I think Rana has something,
mm,
and I think when you put her against Yuzuki, you kind of see it, just like in the sense that it's like, oh, she might like really cause a commotion amongst this rookie class because she can really do something that
mhm,
none of these other rookies can do, right? In the striking, in the technical, and in just her being like this, I don't know, Jill of all trades, I guess. She's very good. But yeah, I thought the match was fine. I thought the finish was a bit abrupt. Uh, I don't like Izuki's roll up. It's just so much, and I was like, this feels this feels a bit excessive. But I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a solid performance from them both.
yeah, no, I think considering the experience level, the fact that they both kept it on track for nearly 7 minutes is pretty
Mhm.
is worth praising. I mean, that's not easy to do. And Yuzuki has like 20 matches, and Rana has 3. So
Yeah.
I think they deserve credit for that. Um, that takes us on to our next match, which was another Rookie of the Year semi-final. It was Hanako beating Kurara Sayaka. I messed that up. It is the other way around. When Hanako won with a Brainbuster in 5 minutes. Yeah, this is a good pairing to kind of bring out the best in both of them. Hanako is a powerhouse presence, and everybody else kind of bounces off that. And there's few ways to bounce off that better than being the idle underdog babyface who scrapes by in every match. So yeah, this worked well to the strengths of both Sayaka and Hanako. But also, I think Sayaka is a bit better than I thought.
Yeah.
Because every match
She's
now she like does more shit, and I'm like, where was that? Where did you pull that from? So she's showing out lately. I'm very interested in Saka Carrara, because she does play her role well, but she also just keeps doing new stuff that's like really good.
her style, and like if you disagree, if anybody disagrees, like let me know. Her style kind of reminds me of Riho's in not like in
Oh.
like oh the moves necessarily, but just the way that her like her footwork and her evasiveness, the way she just kind of like moves around the ring, reminds me a lot of Riho, which is a good thing. I love Riho. I think Riho's great. Um, and I really like that lane for her because, like I was saying when she debuted, it's like she's the only one that I don't really see any like lane for except for get beat up, right?
Hmm.
And I think I kind of see it now, and I have hopes. I have high hopes for her in the future. I also thought Hanako had a really good performance here because
Yeah.
uh, to this to this date, right? To this day, I don't know what phrase I was looking for.
I
Hanako
mixed up
hasn't
to
really
date
gotten
and to this day. It
yeah to
was
date.
somehow.
But to date has to go at the end of whatever English. Hanako hasn't really gotten to be that true powerhouse that I think she can be. She has kind of fallen to the Kitamura effect, which is what I call it when a rookie is very clearly a a tool player, but because they're a rookie in Japan, they can't they can't access that part of their self themselves, right? I call it the Kitamura because back in the day, the huge bodybuilder guy in New Japan was a young lion, and he had to get beat up.
Mhm.
Why was he getting beat up? He was bigger than most of the people, like, combined. He was bigger than the entire roster. Like, that made no sense. I feel like that's been Hanako's issue, and I think in these 2 matches against the people who have less experience than her, she really showed that it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be, like, the top power wrestler in Stardom," 'cause she just ran these motherfuckers over, and it was great.
Yeah, she fits well into this, like, ridiculously well-rounded crop that Stardom got last year.
Mhm.
Because obviously Aya and Rana kind of fill similar roles, but then Suzuki is very different. Sayaka Kurara is different. Hanako is different. We haven't seen Rian just yet, or Komomo Minami, but I know Komomo was meant to be more of a high-speed wrestler.
Yeah.
So Hanako just fits in really well with this collective that they've got. And she's kind of an important thing for everybody because if she's like the measuring stick powerhouse for these other ones to overcome, then I think that's a good spot for her and a good thing for them to work towards. Especially somebody like Sayaka, who is obviously going to have a long climb to kind of reach the level of her peers. But having somebody like Hanako to really bounce off is going to be really good for her. So yeah, like this match wasn't amazing, but you could really see just how well this group is gonna fit together and how interesting things could be for them for the next couple of years.
Yeah, totally. I agree. It's Hanako has more than I think people I mean, all of these wrestlers do have more than I think people have given them credit for, and like I think they're gonna really show out from here on out.
Mm. All right. Our next match then was Lady C versus Hina. Lady C won in just under 8 minutes with the ready style. I'm Tagami. I'm ready.
That's crazy.
Um, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Um,
I don't remember what she won with, like what that is. I didn't
I
write
don't know.
anything down for
It's,
this match.
yeah, it
Kevin went
was.
down. Kevin went down,
Yeah,
so it's like
Kevin was
they
sick.
kind of, and yeah, she was sick, so it was like a kind of day of sort of thing. So I get them just being like, we'll just wrestle, I guess. I don't know. I can't really fault to uh,
No,
undercard wrestlers who aren't very well rounded necessarily. Just kind of having like a match that happens and on a day's notice. You know what I mean?
yes, yeah, that's kind of it. Uh, it's neat to see Hina get a pay-per-view singles match. I guess that's nice.
Yeah, I hope that she kind of can you know grow more. I feel like she's plateaued a
Yeah.
little bit.
So that match happening meant that the Barry Barry Bombers got a first round bye in the Triangle Derby tournament. So that meant that the winners of the next match would go on to face the Barry Barry Bombers. Of course meant that Saya Kamatani, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishita wrestled to a 15-minute time limit draw with Megan Bain, Mei Sarah, and Suzu Suzuki. Um, this was tied for match of the night, I'd say. This was
This
really
was this
good.
was undoubtedly my match of the night.
Megan Bain and Aphrodite just it's another pairing that just works really well. But they
Megan
also
Bain is
paired
so
off.
dumb how good she is, just kind of out of no,
No,
not out of nowhere.
no.
Like she's been growing a lot, but like she's just been like the highlight of like every match she's in for the past like month or so.
If Tony Khan fumbles her, we are gonna have to have conversations. Like I'm calling that man a fraud with my entire chest.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
100%. I
Like
mean,
you,
look at her.
he has Mariah May, Chris Statlander, Red Velvet, Megan Bain, maybe Mercedes Monet, probably somebody I'm forgetting, Athena, probably
Yeah.
somebody else that I'm forgetting. If you
I
can't
mean,
do
there are a
anything
lot of
good with
wrestlers.
these women, I swear to God, I am calling you a
One of
fraud, you geek. So
like
that's just it.
I think Megan Bain is like yeah, that would be because she is a beautiful giantess. How do you fuck that up? Like, there's no way you can do that. And she's insane. Like, she's insanely good. You
She is
can't
a
like
once in a generation mix of like power, athleticism, charisma, like everything. Like you don't get a Megan Bain every day. You get a Megan Bain every like 10 or 20 years. Like this is a rare thing for somebody to have the mix of skills that she has, especially after the injury she had.
mhm.
Like the fact she's still as athletic as she is ridiculous. So just the gauntlet is there, Tony. You can't fuck this one up. All right, that's just it. Um, But yeah, this is great. They paired off everybody who needed to be paired off, like Azumi with May, Utami with Megan, Saya with Megan, Saya with Suzu. We kind of just did all the cool pairings, and that made for a really good match.
Yeah, no, I thought this was super fun. Like just because these wrestlers are good, like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of just what you want out of these sorts of tournaments and these sorts of shows. Are six wrestlers just kind of killing it. One note I need to make is Azumi and Utami did a sunset flip German suplex combo
Oh, that
on
was
Sarah,
ridiculous.
and it was the nastiest shit I've ever seen. I like audibly like yelped. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it's like it was beautiful. Man, sometimes I love wrestling. Like this wasn't the greatest match I've ever seen, but this is like one of those matches that's just like, damn, wrestling's sick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like this is what you want.
We have fun. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Um,
After
that
the
match ending in
match,
a draw meant that
yep.
Barry Bombers went straight to the final without having to wrestle, which I think they turned into a kind of decent story throughout the night. But we'll touch on that a bit later. And then Crazy Star challenged Aphrodite to a tag title match. So,
Hmm, we'll talk
yeah,
about that later.
all right. After that, then we had a Triangle Derby first round match. It was Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Natsuko Tora beating Hanan, Saya Ida, and Mayu Iwatani. And Momo beat Saya with a bastard driver in just under 10 minutes. Wow. Yeah, this was okay. I mean, these two teams, they work well together, but it's also, they've done that so many times. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like even if it's good, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I've seen this. We've lived it.
Ida finally brought in her new gear that she wore at the never before seen LLPW show.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
And Hanan also debuted new gear, which I have heard
What do you
mixed.
think of the Hanan gear? Because
Yeah, I've
I
heard
like I
mixed
like the
things.
shoulder pads. I like the
See,
shoulders. But
I am not as crazy about the shoulder pads,
right, okay.
but
I
I
like
do
the
like
shoulder.
everything else.
I don't like anything else. The
See, that's
colors are
yeah.
just not. The colors just don't work. I don't think. I'm just not a
Oh,
fan
I
of
think the
some of
colors
the
definitely
colors.
work. I
Uh,
think well, maybe down to
a
the
bit too
legs, like
much.
the oranges are a bit unnecessary. I think if she kept
Mm,
with the yellows and the blues, it would have worked. I think it gets a bit too like reddish, orangish down there. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, like the tie-dye part.
yeah.
Um, but I like the gear. I've heard many comparisons. A lot of people saying it looks like Saki's gear, color Saki's
Mhm.
gear, which I kind of agree with. A buddy of mine said it kind of reminds him of Arisa's gear, one of Arisa's gears.
Kind of, but not the same color scheme, I guess.
No, yeah, it's like yeah, but like I kind of get what he was going for, but I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's a bit of a stretch. Um, but yeah, I like it. I like the gear overall. I think the shoulder pads will definitely grow on me. But you know, when I first saw him, I was like, damn, she got the fuzz balls on her shoulder. That's crazy.
Mm. Take a bit to get used to, but
Yeah,
once you kind of get it, you're into it. I think so. That's really it. Um, but yeah, that was that match. I don't know.
I thought because the new gears, I was like, hey, maybe they like make a run, and then I remembered,
Mhm.
oh wait, Ida's here and Momo's here.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
The next match then was Amisore, Mirai, and Syuri beating Fukigen Death, Ina, and Ruaka. This wasn't even a match. Like Godzilla just steamrolled them. Like Mirai just lariated the shit out of Ruaka, and they won. It
I
was
thought
it was
Rock and
just so
Mirai had some
sudden.
fun stuff.
They did, but it was so like one-sided. I was actually kind of
Yes.
surprised.
How long did it go? Uh,
Six and a
6
half.
minutes. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then they had to sell being tired afterwards, despite
Mm.
them not being tired.
So
Like
that
when
was
you think about it,
interesting.
these two matches, these Oedo Tai versus God's Eye matches, were a minute longer than the first match. You know what I
Um,
mean? And they're like
yeah.
devastatedly
They
tired.
did. They
I
have
think
to.
that's
They,
funny.
I kind of it made sense why they walked over that team because they had to immediately wrestle again, and they were
Yep.
told in the ring.
It was such a funny moment.
So then the Oedo Tai A team showed up and like was kicking asses.
Yeah. I didn't really like the God's Eye versus Whale Tie A team. That they had to do a count out, and I thought that was kind of dumb. Like I think the way they went about it, because Oedotais looked so dumb that was like almost funny. You know what I mean? Like like I don't know. They just got lost in the sauce, I guess. They just decided, let's just not get back in the ring until 1 second before the count out, and then we'll start being upset that we can't get back in the ring. It's like, did you not think about this ever? No? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they like just like sold the desperation of it all with the count out win. 'Cause you can't have a way to tie lose with that kind of advantage. So I guess you had to do the ring out, but it wasn't the most amazing finish. But I don't know. I liked it as part of like the one show.
I thought it was like I liked the idea of doing an alternative finish. Like I wasn't opposed to that.
Yeah,
I just think that like the idea of Oedo Tai just crawled brawling without any thought of ever getting back in the ring, like once. I was like, I don't know. That
I
I
don't know.
thought they
The
could
way
have
they
sold
like
it a bit
the
better.
way they sold it was like Ami kind of snuck in and kind of got them by surprise almost.
Well,
So
you see, the thing is that the announcer calls out the numbers.
but they probably
So
thought Ami was off brawling too, so it would have been a double elimination.
and they would still not win.
But I
The Bari
imagine
Bar
they just
Bombers,
hate
they would have
God's Eye
just
that
given the Bari
much.
Bari Bombers a win without ever entering a ring.
Yeah, but their beef isn't with Barry Barry Bombers. They don't like God's Eye.
Okay, but we're inching near the War Dogs territory of where it's like, well, they don't want to win. Why would they want to win a wrestling match? Because they're fucking wrestlers, Alex.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Like
Tora
I didn't
is.
hate it. A lot of
We've
people
established
hated
Tora
the
acts a bit
finish.
weird after after losing big matches. She
This
she
is
was
true.
just on a rampage. But
That's true. That's
yeah,
true.
I mean,
No, that's a good
if
point.
you just view it through the lens of God's Eye, you're like, okay, I get it. You know,
Yeah,
they win the first match, they scrape through the second one, they go into the third one all beaten up and attacked. So I liked it for what it was. But you also only have to take it into account as part of this like one show God's Eye story of them like ascending to the artist belts essentially.
I
But
also
beyond that,
liked that.
yes, it was kind of dim.
I also liked that Natsuko jumped Utami at ringside just because she was annoyed. Like
It's
after she lost, she's like,
eternal,
"Man, fuck you, Utami."
eternal beef. That's basically it. Great.
The never-ending story.
Um, we got a break from the tournament action then with a special 8-woman tag match. You, Nanai Takahashi, Hazuki, and Saki Kashima beat Syuri Ano, Yuna Mizumori, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika when Saki Kashima won with the rebirth, the revival. She rolled up Unimon in this star-studded 8-woman tag. Saki Kashima got the win for her team because she is that damn good.
You know,
Um,
I have Saki Kashima's comedy has really clicked with me since her comeback. I always
she's
liked it. I
doing
always
great
thought she
stuff.
was funny, but I don't know why. I've just been like, I was like, she's been a delight. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
Her just not wanting to
I
tag
love her.
in at all until Nanai had beaten up Unimon was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, and she
Um,
posted a video on Twitter of her like taking her phone out and recording Nanai and you and being like, "Hey guys, we gotta do our best, right?" And they're like, "What the fuck are you recording us?" And she runs away. And then Nanai retweets it. She's like, "This doesn't tell the full story. She wouldn't make eye contact with us the entire day. We tried talking to her. She wouldn't talk to us. And then she shows up with her fucking phone trying to record us. Yeah, we got mad." And Sakashi was like, "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry." I love it. I love it.
she's great. She was great in this match because she just wanted none of it. Like she was like, "Oh, you guys
Oh
can
yeah.
like go at it. I'm okay. I don't want the smoke. Um, have fun." And it was only when it was a worn down Unimizumori that she was like, "All right, tag me in. It's my time."
And then
And then we
and then they came back and just started beating the fuck out of
Yeah,
her.
it was great. She was great. Because this was a really good match, and I think it was
Mhm.
because they mixed together so many different things. Hazuki and Ano basically teased a white belt match. Hazuki got in, said, "Get the fuck out of the ring. I want Syuri Ano," and they went at it, and that was great.
She's
The
so real for
night
that.
Nai and Mina kept their thing going because they are clearly at odds now, and I'm into that. And then you had Saki just kind of being like this comedic figure. So all that came together for I thought a really good match. I don't know if this is better than Queen's Quest versus the unaffiliateds, but it's like right up there. Like they're both pretty even.
I put this one below the Queen's Quest unaffiliated,
Maybe
but
I don't
I
know.
did think
Hazuki and
this was
Anno
quite fun.
were doing some shit, you know.
Oh
I
hell yeah!
feel like
I mean,
that deserves.
Hazuki showed up in the St. Patrick's Day Bulls gear, homie. Like, do you know how much that means to me? That shit is
I don't
fire.
know.
I think it's very funny, and that's a very specific reference, but I think it's very funny that like Hazuki just changes the colors of her gear, and I like go insane for them. Like every time, I was like, she fucking did it again. It's the exact same gear, but she stays cooking. Yeah, I thought her and Ano were tremendous. It's a shame that I don't think we'll ever get that white belt match.
They have to. If they've teased it now, they have to.
Yeah, but who's challenging next?
Starlight Kid?
And
He's not winning on V1. He ain't winning that soon.
I don't know, but
And Anno does not set up matches with Natsupoi and Tam potentially without
to be
getting
fair,
those out of the
I
way.
think they might be concerned about how long that's what's going to take. Because I feel like we would have heard by now if it wasn't going to take, if they were like prepared. You know, like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Maybe. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. They might just be hot shotting it to Starlight Kid. Um,
We'll
who
see.
knows?
I suspect Kid will take a bit longer, but you know what?
You
We'll have
know,
to
I think
have
Minnie
to.
would think that.
Well, I just it's Stardom and it's the white belt. You know how they go. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, you have to lose and fight your way back up, guys. That's how you got to do it." So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
talk
Kid might
about
have to do
we'll
that.
talk a bit more about Kid when we get to the Rumbles.
Yeah, yeah. But for now, that was a really good match.
Yes.
It was nice. It was nice, like indication of how you can take a meaningless tag and turn it into something by just trying. Like people being like, okay, we're gonna do this. Because yeah, this match is so much better with the Naimina feud and the Hazuki Anno tease kind of at the heart of it instead of just being a random tag.
Yeah, I agree.
The match after that then was the Rookie of Stardom, Rookie of the Year tournament final. Yuzuki beat Hanako in 7.5 minutes with a rolling arrow. I had a few takeaways from this one. Number one, they are strapping the rocket to Yuzuki like if people have not seen in a long time. Uh, she's getting a Saya Kamatani Utami push. Like I have no doubts. She beat her senior, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
something a lot of people might overlook. But Hanako has months on her, um, and she won the
She
tag the other day
technically
despite
she
Miyu
has like
Amasaki being there.
technically she has like a year on her if we count her time as a collegiate pro
Yeah.
wrestler.
So
She has
and
like a year and a half,
seniority,
2
like
years on her.
seniority is really well protected a lot of the time. So for
Mhm.
somebody like Yuzuki to just break it that quickly, that tells you that they really, really love her. So yeah, I would not be surprised if she holds at least a belt by the end of the year. Um,
Yeah, no, I
you
think she
know,
does.
it's gonna happen.
Depending on how
Uh,
soon the future belt is taken off of Rina and given to whoever's next, I think whoever's next drops that to Yuzuki.
Evan,
And who's ever next is probably Miyu. Um,
yeah,
it just depends on when Miyu beats Rina. Because if it's like
sometime
in the
soon,
next
you'd
month or
imagine.
two, then
Yeah.
definitely Yuzuki by the end of the year. But if it's like 4, 5, 6 months from now, maybe they want to take give Miyu a sizable run,
Mm.
and not have Yuzuki take it this year. But I will say I think Yuzuki, um, when we first saw her, I thought that the one thing was just kind of her presence, just like I don't know her vibe, her personality, kind of like not really letting that show out. I think she's just kind of naturally begun doing that. Like, I think she's just a lot more comfortable in the ring and just, like, as a wrestler, and I think that's, like, a huge part of why she is improving so much, even though she
Mhm.
was already very good in the ring. It feels like she has something to her, and I will never use the word aura again, and I don't think like,
No, it's not that.
it's not aura, but it's just, like, a confidence, I guess. Like she has like a confidence to her that I don't think she had in her
Yeah.
first couple matches, and I think it really showed out in like this match specifically
That was
because
my
her
second takeaway. Was
her
the
coming
first one was
back.
the push, but the second one was that like she did stuff in this match that I think it took Miyu Amasaki about a year to get down.
Mm,
She was like amping the crowd up. She was like coming back and like yelling and really getting people into her struggle. And that's something that we pointed out with Miyu Amasaki. She only started doing it like after the Soriano match or something.
After the Syuri
Um,
match, the Ano match was
around
a
then,
few
yeah.
months later. Yeah.
Whereas Yuzuki, she's doing it now after a month and a half because that's what she did here. She was fighting the powerhouse of the group, but she was also really getting the crowd on side. She was taking time between the moves to make sure the crowd was into her and rooting for her. And that's the kind of thing that usually takes a long time. There's a lot of wrestlers who just they don't get that part. But here she had that. She had the crowd behind her like really easily. Um, I think that was really impressive.
Yeah. I also want to mention that I called that Boston Crab spot being a big deal, and it was, and I thought it was beautifully done. Um,
Mm.
I was like, oh, Yuzuki keeps losing to the Boston Crab. Hanako's definitely going to use it on her, and then she did, and it was like one of the biggest near finishes of the match. Um, and yeah,
They
I
also
thought that
pulled
this
it out
was
too early for me to buy in.
what? What do you say?
They pulled it out a little bit too early for me to
Yeah, they
like buy
probably
in.
could have saved it for another minute or two, but I mean, it was a
Yeah,
short match. It wasn't like
that's
it
true.
was,
That's true.
you know. I also thought Hanako did good character work. I think that like her refusing to shake Yuzuki's hand before the match, jumping the ref after the match, just really being fucking furious about the loss. I think that was all very well done. Because you should be. You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of a thing. I think that's kind of a thing with a lot of rookie wrestlers, is that like where do you go, right? Because you have so much time to go before you kind of become like a real deal type of thing for a rookie, especially in Joshi and Puro. That like where do you go? And I think Hanako kind of gave herself maybe not a path. I don't think necessarily she'll like turn heel or join a widow tie or whatever. We'll talk about that. What I think she'll probably do next later. But I just think that was smart for her to just kind of show a bit of personality in her defeat and be like genuinely furious about this. She showed it the next day on the next show as well that she still is not too fond of Izuki beating her in this super important tournament.
All right, continue.
Oh, I did.
Okay, what did you say?
I basically just said that I think Hanako kind of like showing a lot of character in defeat was smart because it gives her a way forward. Uh,
All right,
and I
okay.
think rookies kind of need that because they don't have that all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hanako should sell defeats because she's not going to lose to her colleagues all that much, especially
Mhm.
one with less experience. Since the Hanako's or Yuzuki's finish is a roll up, I mean, you can always kind of go, "Oh, what the hell? I kicked out or whatever." So I like that kind of post match, like, hey, really selling the loss. Yeah, she seemed really like beaten up about it when Rossi gave her trophy. Um, so yeah, she did a good job there. Um, Yuzuki put a promo kind of. She just kind of yelled, and I was like, hell yeah, this is
Shuts
what we
up.
need. So yeah, we liking Yuzuki. She's got a lot more than even I expected.
Yeah, she's killing it. I'm just happy that these rookies are like coming along. You know, are good. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, this show really needed them to be interesting, and I thought they were.
yes,
Like
yes,
they really put on display how good the class is and how well rounded it is. Yeah, I'm very into it. I'm very interested by how they all kind of progress and develop over the next while.
totally. I agree.
Um, our main event then of the show was a Triangle Derby 2024 one-day tournament final and an Artist of Stardom Championship match because Julia just before the match decided, hey, let's put the belts on the line. So for the second year in a row, the Derby winner also got the Artist belts. And that led to a title change as Amisore, Mirai, and Syuri beat Mai Sakurai, Tekla, and Julia when Syuri pinned Tekla in 14 minutes with the Vermilion World. She pulled out the big one.
The Shusakai, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
it's probably should have happened a year ago,
maybe.
but you know, it
We needed
happens.
that restart run though, so
Yeah, but did we need that New Era's tag run?
we got that because Mina won the white belt, not because
Well, it was a consolation. Uh, And I think the Iris belts would have been a better consolation.
Probably, but you know what? I'm not. I'm
Consolation.
not trading. I'm not trading Mina's win for anything.
That's not what.
All right. So
I don't
they
even
kind
bring up
of.
Mita's win, and you're like, how dare you try to take away me?
I get protective. Somebody has to be protective over Rossi. Sure ain't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, this was I don't know, I thought the match was fine, to be honest with you.
it was all right.
I enjoyed like everything they did with God's Eye, you know, wrestling 3 times and champions wrestling once and God's Eye looked good. Every member actually won an individual match, so they as a unit look really strong. But yeah, the final match here wasn't like amazing. Um, they gave us such a small glimpse of Syuri and Julia, and it
Mhm.
was kind of annoying because like Julia's gone. Like
Oh
you've
yeah,
admit Julia is gone. Julia has admit she's gone. Just put her in the ring. Like let her and Syuri wrestle. There's
it's
not
kind
many
of
more times we're gonna get this. Just do it.
the thing that I was the most annoyed about when it was revealed that DDM is dead is that they just pulled out on this show a Japanese Ocean Cyclone suplex backstabber combo, and I'm just like, what? Do
Oh
that
yeah,
more.
yeah.
That shit was killer. What?
You can't because
Why?
2 of them are gone.
Why? Why? What are you doing? You know what I mean? I was like, that's like one of
Yeah.
the best tag team moves I've ever seen, and they're like, nah, we done. We hit that once, and it is over. Um, yeah, I mean, this it felt like it was trying to like really ramp up into something, but I just didn't think it had the legs for it. It didn't have the oomph that needs, I guess. Um, yeah, I mean, after the match, Julie and Shuri just kind of gave each other this look, and I was like, oh, something's up. And
Oh, dude, there was clips, and I was like, "Oh, Julia's gone. Like that is a
mhm.
woman who is not gonna be here in a few months."
And then I think it was Peps was like, yeah, but we wouldn't be saying this if we didn't know that like Julia, like we would have just said, just thought, oh, that's a interesting kind of look, a glare.
Not really. She
And
was
I was
about
like,
to
no,
cry.
it was
Yeah.
very telling, and I think the next day it
Mm,
like you kind of know why, even more so than if she's dipping, which she is. I feel like we're all pretty much content with that. It feels pretty obvious. Um, but beyond that, the DDM is dying. Like I think that was what that look was at the very least. Was that it's like this is the last time Sherry will ever wrestle DDM. You know what I mean?
mm.
Like that's insane.
Yeah, that yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get through this next one without me kind of kind of going off, but yeah, we're gonna try. So next show to review, and we'll probably only get partially through this before we have to take our break, but we'll see how we go. This was Ittenyon Stardom Gate on January 4th. They did a sellout, 1,536 fans at the Tokyo Dome City Hall. So despite the weak-ish card, they did really, really well. You know, 1,500 is nothing to sneeze at.
Joshi did
So
well on that day.
play.
CJPW
Did
also did
did
very good in
yeah.
Korkauen, which was very good. That's I didn't watch everything on the show all the way, like committed, because I watched TJPW for the first chunk of it. 'Cause the top half of the TJPW card was a lot better than the bottom half of this card.
I I watched the main event of this first and then watched the rest and I was like, God
Mm.
bless anyone who stayed up for this. Like it was rough.
I mean, this was show number 3 of my 11-hour wrestling marathon on this day.
Yeah,
So
you're a bit of a sicko, so
a little bit.
I don't know what you yeah. But anyway, our opening match was this on the show or was this a pre-show?
It was on the show.
Rana was it?
I mean, it
Sure.
was there. I watched it.
Rana Yagami,
Yep.
Mizuki, and Hanako? Oh, I don't remember this happening. I won't lie to you. Like I
Um,
legitimately don't have
Hanako
any
was beefing
recollection.
with Izuki despite them being tag partners,
Hmm.
and they got their first win over people with like actual experience.
Oh, that's
Even though they
true, yeah.
pinned Carrara, uh, they beat Hina and Lady C, who have been around for like years now.
Mm.
So that's a
I
moral
think this was
victory
a
for them.
pre-show match because I feel like I came in at the Stars match. It
Then
was the
yeah, maybe it
pre-show.
was a
Yes,
pre-show
yes, it
match.
was pre-show.
Well, I
Okay,
watched it. That's what happened.
okay. Yeah, I was like, I have no recollection of this match, and I know this show was very forgettable up until a certain point, but I would remember watching that match. I came in at Hazuki, Hanan, and Ida, Stars, facing and beating Starlight Kid, Fukigen Death, and Rina of Oedo Tai. Hanan pinned her sister Rina with a blockbuster hold in 9 minutes.
The cutie
Um,
special, the Hanan special. Shouts out.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
what more is there to say about Stars versus Oedo Tai? Dylan, like,
no, I
what
thought
can we
I
do?
thought that Hazuki and Kid did some good work together, which isn't always the case, and I thought that the sisters did some good work together as well. Um,
Yeah, I like the
it,
Hanan Rina stuff, but like,
yeah,
I'm just,
yeah, I
I don't
liked it
know.
a lot. I man, Hanan's gonna save this company.
She, I don't know what they're cooking for her this year, but she's gonna do something.
She's got to.
Yeah, she's got some stuff coming. But yeah, I don't know. That was a decent opener, solid enough opener. I don't know if you have anything more to say, anything to add.
No, just yeah, sisters did well, especially.
Okey-dokes. We then had Mei Sarah and Mina Shirakawa beating Mai Sakurai and Tekla. Mei Sarah pinned Tekla in 8 minutes and 40 seconds with the La Magistral. I swear I watched this show. I swear. I
Don't
don't.
worry, Mina
I
versus
couldn't.
Mai was probably the most forgettable thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Um,
like this is
they
blank
they just
from
they have
memory.
like negative chemistry. I'm gonna be real.
Mm,
Uh, it just it really killed my like. I was just like, do I even have to watch this? Um,
that's fair.
but then Tekla and May kind of did some cool stuff, and May Sarah
Yeah.
is May Sarah. It's one of those wrestlers who's like she's like such an effort wrestler, which is great because she's also just really fucking good.
Mm,
Um, but by effort wrestler, I mean like she will put everything into making a match good, even if it shouldn't be. Uh, I didn't think this match was like great or particularly good, but I thought that's like Miss Sarah is like she's always on, and I respect the fuck out of
she's a
her for that.
beast.
Yeah.
We like Mei Sarah. Especially when she against somebody like Tekla, who's really good. Um,
Yes, that was fun.
Little did we know this would be the last we see of Tekla for a while.
This
Um,
was the last DDM match ever
that's crazy.
because DDM didn't tag together later in the show.
That's insane. Holy shit. Um, oh, okay. Um, then had Saki, Syuri Ano, and Yuna Mizumori beating Momotnabe, Rocca, and Natsuko Tora. Syuri Ano got a win over Rocca with the Antandol in 8.5 minutes. I do remember the finishing stretch, and I remember being like, "This is not fair to Rocca." Um, yeah,
They're
Ano
never
is
fair to
Ano's always
Ruaka.
gonna win. No, that's true.
Ruaka's kind of like a I forget what the fuck the snake eating itself thing, where it's like she's good, but they don't give her anything. So she just kind of doesn't try. And then because she doesn't
Mm,
try, they don't give her anything.
yeah.
And then because they don't give her anything, she doesn't try. And I think that's kind of where we're at with Uraka. Because like she has great like moments in wrestling
Mm,
matches. You know, like legitimately. Like she when she's like kind of like cooking, she can do crazy good shit. Um, but it's like, why the fuck would you try if you're Ruaka in this position right now?
yeah, that's
It's no
fair.
real
That's
point.
fair. All right.
I skipped that match because that was during Miyu versus Masha.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, the match after that was Sai Kamitani, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishita beating Saki Kashima, Amisori, and Mirai. Utami pinned Saki with the German suplex in just under 11 minutes. Yeah, this Queen's Quest trio cannot do any wrong. Like
No,
they're too good at this stage. And in Utami Saki finishing stretch is like the coolest sounding shit.
it was unnecessarily good. Like it
Mm.
did not need to be like as fun as it was.
Is this
Um,
where Utami bust out the brown hair, or did she have it on the day before?
I think this might be it, but I'm not
Okay,
100% sure if I'm being
because I
honest.
was very taken aback with the brown hair. Didn't
Oh yeah,
think I would I
the
would like
grayish
it more
brown.
than the red. Yeah, I didn't think I would like it more than the red and black because I like the red and black combo. But yeah, the
She
brown hair
she
is great
she
too.
brought out the show before.
Oh right, okay, that's fair. Yeah, because
But yeah,
I was like,
I
damn,
love the
Utami,
I
that was
love the
powerful.
grayish black hair.
Mm.
It's like man, Tommy.
He's got
That's
so many
that's it.
good, great like looks that I'm like, I'm jealous. I'm envious. Like, how do you pull off this many hairstyles? Because like that is difficult. So
I know we
yeah.
talked about before that it's like certain wrestlers kind of pull off short hair better, some look better in long hair. Utami pulls off short hair better, but I don't know if she's ever looked bad. Like, I think she's rocked everything she has ever, like, worn, or every hairstyle she's ever had. It's kind of remarkable.
I hate her. I'm growing to hate this woman. How are you this perfect? How are you this
Not fair.
perfect? Disgraceful. But yeah.
It's
I don't
actually
know.
graceful. That's kind of her whole thing.
Can't see it, but I'm side eyeing you so hard right now. So
Yeah.
just know. Just know.
I mean,
But
isn't
yeah,
that her
no, this
nickname? Like the royal, cool, beautiful, and graceful leader
I
of
have no
Queen's Quest?
idea. I thought it was the Queen of Roses or something.
No, no, it's like
Oh,
she is so hot and so cool and so awesome and so
okay.
regal and cool, and that's her nickname.
Yeah. All right. I guess series is like just as weird. The world class woman on a different level. You're like, is that
That's so
something you
fire
did?
though. That's so fire though.
Yes, it is. It is kind of. But yeah, that Utami Saki stretch was cool. I like that.
Hmm.
Saki good.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Very fun.
The next match then was Megan Bayne and Micah wrestling to a 20-minute time limit draw with Suzu Suzuki and Julia. Um, I thought this was great. Uh, Suzu and Julia really took the fight to Bayne.
Mm.
And this is one of the first times where both people in a match have just been like, "No, we're gonna get at you." Um, so that was like my key takeaway. It was just how good they were opposite Megan Bayne. Poor Micah kind of got forgot about a little bit, but you know what? She was cool too. But this was like Bayne versus Suzu and Julia show for a lot of it, and it was good. It was really good.
I think it could have used some more Micah. Because it felt like at some
Made
point it
up
felt
for
like
it
they
at the
were,
Korkauen, to be fair. I think.
yeah, but it felt like they were kind of wrestling in circles because it was
Mm,
just Suzu and Julia taking the fight to Bane for 18 of the 20 minutes. And I'm just like, are we ever gonna do something more than this? Like, I thought it was a good match, but I find that I think Suzu kind of has that issue in draws where she is kind of like, because the match isn't gonna have a finish, she just kind of like doesn't leave like second gear. Um,
mm.
Not first gear, because she's always like, she usually brings
He
it
is
to
never in
some
first gear.
level. Exactly. She's always at a certain level beyond just like, cruising. But she never really, like, it just keeps going in circles for her in
Yeah,
draws sometimes. And that was my main critique of this match. I did think it was a good match though. I thought it was solid overall. Just kind of, like I said, I think that's just something Suzu needs to kind of get better at, because it felt the
mm.
same with her singles match against Bane, where it just felt like, oh, we're just gonna
That
keep
was as bad.
wrestling
To
until
be
we
fair.
stop. You know what I mean? That was bad. That was a lot worse. Trust me. This was a good match, but that was a bad match.
Yeah, yeah, that was not a good time. But yeah, I know I enjoyed this, but I think I just like seeing anyone taking the fight to
Yeah,
Bane. I
yeah,
just
no, I
think
get
it's
that.
interesting, especially when Julia and Suzu do it in such cool ways because they're both just really good, um, and they work well together because obviously they have so much history. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it, but yeah, it probably could have been a bit better, especially with more Micah. But
Yeah,
they did let they did make up for it at the Cork, and I thought with Micah, she obviously we'll talk about it a bit later, but she went full toe to toe with Julia after that finishing stretch. Okay, so this is part two of the recording. We cut off there after the Divine Kingdom versus Ice Ribboners draw. And I mean, there's only one place to go really after that, and that is, after the match, Julia announced that Donna Del Mondo would be disbanding. And she gave the kayfabe reason that like the three main ones had won the belt, so there was no real need for the group anymore. But we all know by now that this is done because she's leaving, 90% leaving, um, and this was her group, so they're just getting ahead of it really, which is an interesting choice. I thought they would just give it to Suzu or give it to Micah instead of having to establish a new brand. But I don't hate it. A Suzu created faction, a Micah created faction. There's some good ideas there, but I did like the aesthetic of Don Del Mondo. I think it was a popular one with people, so I don't know if that's be a risky move, but I guess without Julia, you can't have Donna Del Mondo because it was her group. She made it. It was her mission, kind of. So I don't know. I'm a bit torn on it, but it's gone.
It's interesting because I'm a reference Matt Pat, who recently said he is going to retire from his YouTube channel. Um, in his like retirement video, he was like, um, certain channels and certain people and certain properties, certain brands can not live without its leader or its founder, and certain ones can't. And I think that's where we're at with Stardom. I think that they, to some degree, still find a sacredness to Queen's Quest, Oedo Tai, and Stars as the original three factions. And outside of that, I don't know if they believe any one faction can survive without its leader. Um, and so I think that's probably why. I know it's a random reference there is to Matt Pat, but I was just thinking about that. That's like, I don't know. I get why they didn't want to keep it going because it's not one of the grandmother factions in the company. It's not one that's has a shit ton of history. Um, it's about to turn four, or it was about to turn four before it fucking died. Um, so I get it, but I do kind of agree. It's an interesting choice to completely kill the faction instead of either handing it off to Suzu or letting Micah kind of continue on with it. But ultimately, I think they just have different directions for everybody post Julia that it wouldn't have made as much sense as we might be letting it make sound like it makes. You know what I mean?
Mm, that's fair. Yeah, I think I can get behind that. I guess I don't know. It's so sudden. I feel like for a faction to go away or something like that, you should do it in a match. Maybe that's my only issue.
It
Is
depends for me.
I mean,
'Cause I
I
mean, my,
guess.
my favorite faction like ever disbanded because Minoru Suzuki said so, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I thought that was the right way to do it because he said it, and then he's like, "We're gonna have one interfaction match in a couple weeks, and then we're gonna go our separate ways." And I think that they did that so beautifully and so well in New Japan, that I think that that is a fun way to do it. Same with Congo. I think Congo did it a little bit worse because Noah's worse, but I think I'm not opposed to the way they did it, but in this circumstance with Julia leaving, I do wonder why they didn't really give it any payoff. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, I wonder where Julia's gonna go from here until she's gone. Because it feels like, okay, well, now I just don't care about Julia anymore. Because, like, a big part of her identity in Stardom was DDM.
mhm,
So her in Stardom is kind of, it's like, funnily enough, it's like Andras post Oedo Tai. Not saying it's anything like similar, because obviously Julia is a different level of star than Andras was, but it's like, okay, so what are we gonna do for the next 3 months while you're still here? Because like I get she can just be a independent because there are independents in this company now, but it's just I don't know. I care about Julia less now that DDM's dead in a weird way. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but it's just like, okay, well then why are you still here? If you killed your faction, you lost your Stardom belt. Like I get you have a few months left, but it's like what we doing? I don't know. It's strange.
it is. It is. I don't know. It was just a weirdly abrupt ending to such an important faction. I mean, we come from different ends of the spectrum on this, but like DDM defined an era of Stardom, kind of unlike any other era. I mean, the super team spanned the growth of this company, was one of its best years, and the weird decline of last year. Like this DDM team has been spearheading almost all of that. Like their mark on this company is unprecedented. Like the success they had will, imagine, never be replicated. Like they're going to go down as one of the most impactful factions this company has ever had. For it to just end is so it's strange to me when you could have done a better payoff to that.
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. It is odd because I feel like I didn't really give a fuck about DDM at any point in their existence. Like, I liked individual members or individual teams. I was a big Maihime fan pretty much the entire time, for example. Um, I always liked Shuri to some degree, but it's like as a faction, as a unit. Excuse me, I didn't really care for them all too much. I thought their rivalry with Cosmic Angels was always pretty eh, and I thought that they had one of the worst pairings in the company. I think them versus Oedo is one of the worst faction v faction pairings um, of recent memory for the company. So it's like I always found it kind of interesting. It's like I wonder if I'm gonna be sad when like people I don't like retire, because it's like you know I don't I don't like Kyoko Noe like as a wrestler, but when she retires, I'm gonna be like, damn, this is crazy. Like she's actually done. And I've always kind of wondered like how I would feel if a DDM would end. And I just feel confused about why they did it in this way. I agree with you. I think of all the factions, I felt like and of all the circumstances, I feel like Julia like going out on top is not very fair. Even though she will lose to presumably Micah or maybe Tam or somebody. Um I feel like her not I feel like the faction not falling and making a story out of it before she leaves is a missed opportunity. Um, at least to some degree. And I say that as somebody who does hate that Oedo is the only entity that can ever end or create factions, it feels like. Um, or create faction movement rather. So like I would have liked it if they did something different that's not Oedo, but I don't know what they could have done. It just felt weird that it's like, okay, so Julia doesn't really get her. I don't want to call it comeuppance because she's been a tweener and the faction's been a tweener. But I don't know. It was an odd way to end it with Julia just kind of like going out on top, quote unquote, um, with the faction, even though the faction is weaker than it's ever been, pretty much at this point. Um,
It still has a red belt champ.
that's only technical. Uh, I, okay, it's not weaker than it's ever been. It was weaker when Suzu and Micah were cool and Micah was barely in DDM. That's when it was the weakest.
What a strange era, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's a missed opportunity, like you said, because your faction is so tied to your identity in Stardom, and they do so much of the storytelling based on that. That I feel like not having somebody rip this away from Julia is missing out on something. Even if
because
it was
Julia's
Micah, like
because
just
I
let it
feel
be
like
Micah, you know,
the
or
big part
Suzu.
of again sorry to interrupt, but again
Right.
going back to the Suzuki Gun thing, it's like the big thing was oh what do they all do now?
Mhm.
Julia's not doing anything now. Tekla's not doing anything for the near future. Micah was already going to do something. Like we already knew some change was going to happen with Micah. And my Sakurai, who the fuck knows? Like I think that like if Julia was like if the idea was like, "Oh, well, there's no if this just happened without any rumor of Julia leaving or without Julia, seemingly leaving, I would find it a lot more interesting that she just ended
Mhm.
it." Uh but with that like knowledge or at least that rumor, like with the knowledge of that rumor existing, it's like, well, okay, it just died for nothing. Instead of like, oh, these are new directions that each of these wrestlers are going to take. That could be interesting. It could level them up. It could, kind of give them a more backseat role, and that's kind of the interesting thing in it. That's the intriguing thing in it. This just didn't have that. So like the segment itself. I thought was like pretty well done. Like
Mhm.
I liked it overall. It was nice and it was sweet. But like, yeah, I don't know. It was a strange move, I would say.
It was, but yeah, they did it
And to not
well,
even do a
and
match, like
I
not
know
even do a
it's
final
crazy.
DDM match. like I said, the last DDM match in history will be my Sakurai and Tekla versus Meisei and Mina Shirakawa. Like that's
I'm sure they'll do like one special match. They're
prob
gonna like milk the
you
Julia
would think.
goodbye tour. I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know.
They probably get well if Natsupoi is back. Probably get her back for one match maybe. Um, I don't really know what her
But this is
status
the thing.
is.
This felt so definitive though. That is my thing. Is that it's
It
like
will, but when Julia says, "Hey, I'm gone," by the way, they usually kind of give people a little leeway to do special matches. So I would say she'll
yeah.
get room to do some.
I will
Even if
say my big like speculative thinking is Tekla 208 tie
I don't know why you would kneecap her like this, but
because it's Tekla. She's a natural heel. Let's be real.
kind of,
She's
I
more
guess maybe.
natural of a heel than like half of Oedo Tai.
She should go to Club Venus. Club Venus needs all the help it can get. Somebody please help Mina.
They have the Lion
Um,
King. Who needs Tekla when you have the Lion King?
Dude, literally
G
nobody is gonna know
GHC
what this is about.
GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion Daga in your faction. That's all you need. The Stinger X Club Venus crossover. Two of the worst factions in existence.
Hold. Two of the worst. Club Venus is not one of the worst factions.
Alex, it is one human being.
Club Venus. Club Venus gave us dancing. It gave us a month there where they had five
No, no,
people
no, no,
and
no.
they were all slaying.
Oedo Tai gave us dancing, and everything since then has been a butchering of dancing. That's what that is.
Oedo's Tai's dance was not that good. Okay,
It
it's
was
fine.
very
It's
good.
time somebody finally said it. The Club Venus dance is better.
I'm gonna fly to Ireland and hit you.
Okay. Alright. But yeah, no, in the moment they did fairly well with this. And, it was a surprise. I'll give them that. It's very rare that you get fully shocked by Stardom, but them just being like, nah, it's over. I
The
think
second she
that's
called them in, I was like, "Oh, it's dead." That's crazy.
mhm.
Um,
um
because if she was just talking to Micah, I'd be like, "Oh, maybe one of them is gonna leave DDM or
yeah,
whatever." But when she called them in, I was like, "Damn, it's Jover.
it's over. No way.
It's real." That's
I
4
can't
years
believe
of
we
this
said
shit.
that. Oh my god. That's mad. Anyway, yeah, they got me though. I will say they got me. The final roll call I think was brilliant.
Oh, I love that. I
Very
love little
emotive.
things like that,
Mhm.
um, in wrestling. I don't think they happen enough, uh, where it's, like, kind of like a acknowledgement of the past, I guess. It's funny because this match happened and this segment happened a few hours before the Naito roll call, where, um, similarly, but not the exact same, before he did the roll call, both Evil and Sonata shared the ring with him for a few seconds, and like that was like kind of like their being included in that roll call.
Mhm.
This was a lot more just like you know a little bit less on the nose. It was very much just Julia saying shouts out to everybody who's ever been with us, and I think that's really sweet. I did really find a real beauty in that. Um, it was a very nice touch to the segment.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of those moments that you'll always kind of remember because
And Micah
those
doing all of
moments
their
kind of
poses too. It was
that
really
was
sweet.
nice. Yeah. Because stuff like this really does stick with people. I mean, we still remember Thunder Rock breaking up.
Oh yeah.
I still remember Jan getting
Mm.
destroyed. I still remember TCS going away. Like
Don't even bring that one up. That one
the
pisses me
factions
off still.
ending. The factions ending is memorable, if nothing else. The final DDM roll call will definitely be something that really closed out this dominant
It
faction.
is
Something that
interesting that it was like as of today. I would have thought they would have just done like a on the anniversary and do like that Suzuki-gun thing where it's like, oh, one last match
y-
of the
I
four of
think
us.
Julia is too busy with her ice stuff. I think she's just obsessed with the
See,
idea of teaming
like,
with Suzu and doing stuff there that she's kind of
can I give a hot
gotten
take?
short-sighted. Go ahead.
After Prominence first year, like the first, in what was it, 2022?
Hmm.
Since then, and Julie and Suzu in any way together I just don't like I just do not care for it. I feel like they're both
Yeah.
more interesting when they are elsewhere, nowhere near each
Hmm.
other. Um, and Suzu's not champion. She has May Sarah, but I guess this is just going to be her next few months is kind of Julia dragging her around to be her homegirl while she ditches her again.
Well, she's got the Micah match in on the horizon.
I also don't
And
really want to see a Micah like I know they have to do it obviously
yeah, you
because
have to do. You have to put Micah
you have to.
over. That's the
I know,
that's the
and
purpose.
but like I said, I just care so much less about Julia after the DDM split specifically because I already knew she was
Yeah.
going, but I was like, okay, well, let's ride it out until the end, and then it's just like now it's not DDM. It's just I don't know. It's a weird. I'm very weird about factions in terms of that sort of thing. I just care so much less about Julia now.
Well, that's all right, I guess. What this does give us though is a big gap
Yes.
because there are more unaffiliateds than there probably has been in Stardom history. Um,
At least since Queen's Quest existed.
yeah, and you're definitely looking at least two groups, I would imagine, to fill the void. Tekla, I'm
I
not
don't
really
know.
sure what happens with her. She's taking a break. They said she has a neck injury. Um, I don't
It's a
know.
lingering neck injury, so it's kind of like a,
Yeah,
you know,
she's already missed a lot of
treatment.
time as well, hasn't she, with injury? I wonder what the story is there. Is
Wasn't that
she
like a
like,
lower back thing though?
yeah, but even still, if she's gonna get hurt like that,
Yeah.
you'd ask questions. Um, Suzu and Micah candidates to lead their own things going forward. I don't see any other landing spot for Micah. The only group that would fit her is Queen's Quest, and Queen's Quest does not need another world champion, quite
They are
frankly.
full.
I guess God's Eye, but God's Eye has a really strong top three. I don't think they need another. They don't need a Micah, unless.
No.
Well, no, not unless anything. So Micah definitely
Unless
has to.
Mirai dips, which she won't.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, but Mirai dipping creates that same problem elsewhere.
Correct. Yeah.
She is a pushed act. So you'd imagine Micah gets her own thing. You'd imagine Suzu eventually sets up her group with Mei Sarah, and kind of the chains fall from there. I think Mai Sakurai probably doesn't follow either of them. I actually suspect she might be God's Eye bound, because she's got that connection with Mirai. I could see them just pairing her up with Mirai.
You think she slots over Ami or below Ami?
Maybe equal. Maybe equal.
That's fine.
I
That's
don't think they'll
got
have favorites.
one dream that I know is not going to happen. Is I would love for the Inabas to join Micah's faction, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I feel like we need to do the whole
Stop.
is Smoke Inaba a real
Yeah.
person thing, because that usually makes people real.
Yeah,
So
I mean, is she real? I hear she won a belt and did say that she wants to wrestle Micah, but that could have been the Void speaking to me. You know what I mean?
that's fair. I don't know. You gotta just run with the punches. Like Mercedes Moné, not real. Kyrie, not real. Smoke Inaba, no longer real. That's how it
Her
goes.
sister is though. Azusa is still real.
Azusa is real. She was here 10 days ago. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's nothing else really on DDM. I mean, we could keep speculating, but I suspect we will know more maybe after the February pay per view.
I do have one question for you. Um, do you think there would be a value in reducing the amount of factions that there are and just making factions more heavy? Or do you think we should just like keep adding factions? Like as in every faction has like a very strong top 4 instead of a very strong top 2.
Um, I'd be into it, but I don't think they are.
Hmm.
I mean, we're at a point where Mina has her own group, and
But
nothing
that's
against
what
Mina,
that's where I
but
was gonna bring it up is that it's like Mina, like Club Venus folding and her going back to Cosmic Angels. Theoretically, there's not room for her there because there's already two top stars and Soriano, who is a top star but isn't signed. And that's kind of where my point goes is that it's like, would there be a value in Cosmic Angels having 4 top wrestlers and, 3 undercard wrestlers, and with Queen's Quest having 3, 4 top wrestlers and 3 undercard. Like, is there a value in that, or should we keep going with like 2 top wrestlers, one like also pretty solid, pretty high up, but not necessarily huge wrestler, and then the rest? Like, do you think there's room for them to book it so that it is like a force at the top of each faction?
I mean,
Because
there's
the only
room.
faction that's really done that is DDM.
Yeah. I mean, there's room, but I don't think they'll do it. Um, the extra merch from new factions is just too easy, and then you get to pair more people off on house
Boo.
shows, and less people to protect. Um, so yeah, I don't suspect they do it, but I mean, if they wanted to, sure, Micah
But
to Queen's Quest,
also
why the hell not?
the issue with that, because you're right, but the issue with that is that this means that one injury means tag team matches only, pretty much. If
Yeah,
one injury and and one of the kids can't come out for a show, you're fucked.
yeah, they don't care. I mean,
They should. That's
Stars
my
was
point.
literally Mayu and Kid for like 6 months. Like that was
And that was on
the
purpose.
point of no return. Like, at that point, there's nothing you can do.
Well, not on
So
purpose. On purpose. I think Conan was injured, but
yeah, Hanan wasn't around, but yeah, like they just don't care anymore. Um, yeah, I think the days of DDM just kind of happened, because it needed to. I think that's the thing. They probably weren't planning on building 3 or 4 years around them. It's just that
they
circumstances
never they never
took
remembered
away.
to put a rookie in there until My
Yeah,
Sakurai, which was
yeah.
3 years in.
Well, but the thing is, like, DDM was probably gonna win, but not as much because you would have had, Arisa Hoshiki and Hannah sharing some of those spoils, whereas
Hmm,
without them, it was just shit. Okay, all systems go with DDM. Like Syuri probably doesn't get the push she does if everybody's around. Um,
yeah.
so then you just have Julia at the top, but I don't know. Maybe they're always gonna push Syuri. Maybe not as much though. I have no idea. So yeah, I don't know, but that's DDM, or where that was DDM. It's we're gonna have some interesting weeks
Did you
ahead.
peep the Arrivederci Sayonara?
I did. She said goodbye, just fully
Yeah.
goodbye,
Not see
and
you later. This is goodbye.
yeah, that was another part where I was like, damn, it's really over. But you know what? That's it. Factions come and go, I guess. Um,
But
our main
Queen's
event
Quest
then.
is, I'm not gonna jinx it.
Okay. Our main event was an IWGP Women's Championship match. Mayu Iwatani defended against Syuri with an avalanche-style reverse Frankensteiner
I
in
remember the name.
19 minutes. You remember the name? What is it?
Yes, it is the Dragon's Lair.
Oh, that's nice. I like that name.
I
Um,
think it some people call it the Dragon's Ray in English, but
mhm,
it's the R and the, I mean, R
mm,
and the L issue. Uh,
okay,
so yeah, the Dragon's
that's
Lair.
cool. Um,
Crazy move.
so I mean, I don't watch Hero, obviously.
Mm.
And I don't really keep up with big AEW matches or whatever. This Mayu versus Shuri match is currently the best match of 2024, and I
Yes,
would,
yes.
I mean, I haven't seen Mio and Aquino, but I don't suspect 2024 Aquino can replicate Mayu Iwatani and Syuri. No offense to, Aquino,
The
very
legend. Yeah.
very underrated figure in Joshi history, but she's been going at this a long time, so um, I would have this as the clubhouse leader for match of the year, and I don't think there's many people who disagree because this was just excellent. I mean,
I mean
just
the
everything you would
Daniel
want from Mayu and Siri.
the Danielson versus Okada of it all is considered by many to beat this, but I think that's the only thing that most have said beat this, that have seen this at least. Um, and even then, I think there are issues with the Okada Danielson finish. Personally, I thought that it kind of was a bit weaker than
Yeah,
it should have
trying to
been.
tell me an
'Cause
Okada match is better than this is like blasphemy.
oh,
You
Okada's
know,
sick. Don't get me wrong. I think Okada's fucking insane. Um,
he
but
is sick in the head, maybe, but I don't know.
he was a clown at that one point with the balloon.
Yeah, that's true. The
Um,
balloons. Yeah.
Oh, that's another article that I never released that will come out, is my retelling of that. That's fun. Um, but yeah, this match, the beauty of this match, first of all, is that they like brute forced a a a heatless match into being like a classic. Because everybody knew Syuri was losing. Uh, the crowd, a lot of them were like, "Okay, can I get to Wrestle Kingdom 18 now? Because like that's across the street, and I'm going there in 10 minutes. Can we hurry this up?" DDM just died, so like this match had everything working against it in terms of just like vibe, and these motherfuckers was like, well, Mayu specifically was just like, well, I guess I gotta kill the UFC fighter. I guess I just gotta do what I gotta do.
I
This
don't know when Mayu flipped the switch and embarked on her Chigusa no Gaio in Gaia Japan arc, but
mm,
I, for one, am very here for it
she needs the
because
black and gold. She needs to break out the black and gold
yes,
gear.
yes, the boxing style stuff as well. You know,
Mhm.
the hood's over it. Yeah, yeah, get on it, Mayu. But yeah, I don't know when she flipped that switch, but I'm very grateful because Mayu just beating the shit out of people is ridiculous.
You know, if you listen to Scott's podcast last week, you have already kind of heard this like anecdote. But I was talking to my mom at the day after Wrestle Kingdom, day after the show. I was talking to my mom about like wrestling and how some people view wrestling, and how a big part of it is inherently parasocial. In the fact that wrestling, and a lot of wrestling fans, especially in Puro, wrestling is meant to kind of like make you want to be a better person. Funnily enough, you'll hear a lot of wrestlers like say, "Oh, I want to like try my hardest and like deliver a beautiful, great match to kind of make people feel like they can do it too. They can do whatever is in their life that they are struggling with." Um, and like I felt like that was very much the Naito Sonata thing, where it's like, oh, this, even though this guy is older, his knees barely work. You know, he's failed for 10 years to do this one thing he's wanted to do. Despite all of that, he still can do it, and like that's like a big emotional, beautiful moment in wrestling, because it kind of makes you want to try your best in your endeavors in life. This Mayu versus Sherry match was the opposite of that. This was a sign that you should give up, because Mayu Iwatani, like the girl who says a place's name wrong and laughs, might just hurt you. It doesn't matter if you're a legitimate former UFC fighter, if you could probably kick the ass of most human beings in the world, uh, if you are one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation, it doesn't matter, because sometimes Mayu Iwatani will just decide, I'm gonna hurt you today, and I think that is great. Like, I found it so fun that this was, like, on the same night as Wrestle Kingdom, because, like I said, there was, like, that beauty in that finish at the end of Wrestle Kingdom. This was just nasty. Like, this is, like, the other side of pro wrestling, and I love it because 'cause they're both equally dope. Um, and I haven't even gotten into, like, what made this match so insane, but there was just so much great shit in it that it was just, oh my god, what a fucking match.
Yeah, they really like gave you what you'd want from a Mayu Siri match.
Mhm.
Like their previous efforts have been, less than stellar. The
Some of them were
Sumo
pretty good.
Hall match, the Sumo Hall match that one time was
That was
just
bad.
not good. Their very first title match was like really long, and it was kind of
I
a
thought they worked it
departure from
well,
what we
but
were used to. So
yeah.
it was like, what the hell is happening? Um, but here they just trimmed all the fat. They just were going at it and they escalated constantly. And yeah, I mean, Mayu brought the violence and Syuri is Syuri. And like when they're throwing shoot headbutts, like what can you do? Like that's
Man, Mayu is a sociopath.
yes.
Like, she is a sadist. Cause like, I don't know, you hush the crowd for when you're gonna throw a chop that's really loud. Like, that's what you do. You know,
Hmm.
the Big Show shouts out. Mayu hushed the crowd and then hit the hardest shoot headbutt she possibly could, just because she wanted to make sure you heard that shit. And I groaned and like turned away because I couldn't keep watching for a second. Um, I've seen death matches less sickening than this. I'm not joking. Like this got rough. Uh, I know Shuri was crying because she wanted to win like a belt that represented Inokiism or whatever. I think Mayu just actually made Homegirl cry. Uh,
Probably.
cause
I mean, her kicks are not very like poised. She simply throws her leg as hard as she can and kind of
yeah,
hopes. So yeah, I would imagine you get a bit bruised up wrestling Maya.
even Rossi was like, I ain't seen Mayu fucking act like that in a minute. Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
Like he
she does
tweeted,
it.
he's like, oh
She
my
does it
god.
for this belt and this belt alone because she also mugged Mercedes money.
Yes, that
Like,
that was actually where I was thinking of. It's like this match was if the Mercedes Mo name match was better, just overall as a match, bell to bell, because it had that Mayu ism in it, right?
mm,
The oh, I'm just gonna like throw my limbs at you as hard as I can, and you're gonna take it. Cool, cool. Um, and I love her for that. I love her for that. And this just felt like it was just like such a raw wrestling match. In
mhm.
that it's like the flow, like they didn't give a fuck about the flow, which I love sometimes when you depart from the flow. I know you weren't as crazy about the match, but in a sense, and I won't even say that they're similar matches, but the flow, the way they flowed the match or the lack thereof, kind of reminded me of Fuminori Abe versus Takuya Nomura, just because it was like the anti-epic. Even though it went 20 minutes, it was completely the antithesis of what an epic wrestling match is, because it just they just didn't stop. You know what I mean? It was tremendous in that sense. I thought the flow was beautiful because again, they just kept going. They just kept, you know, leveling up. They kept increasing what they were doing. But not in the sense where it was like a slow progression. They just were like, "Fuck it, we're throwing this here. We're gonna do this, then we're gonna kill each other, then we're gonna kill each other." Like I thought the two step was the finish. Legitimately.
Mm.
I thought Mayu fucked up and she was too close to the ropes and they were just gonna have to find another finish. And then they just kept going. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they just and they just hurt each other. I say they hurt each other. Mayu hurt Shuri. This was not oh, we're gonna beat the fuck out of each other. Shuri got her shots in, but Mayu killed Shuri. It was great.
Yeah, we got to the point where Mayu did her like one once a year big match no sell and it was just over. Like she just flips the switch and that was it. Um and it was nice to see even Syuri succumb to that because Syuri is like she's, one of the most protected wrestlers in Stardom. They present her as quite the monstrous presence in the ring anyway. So yeah, for Mayu to just like shrug it all off and go, okay, no, this is my match now. It was uh it was incredible. And it's not really something you see from Syuri all that often. Like you don't see her get kind of barred around like that. So it was certainly a little bit more interesting than kind of the usual Mayu match because it's like, oh, she's taking the Syuri to town. Okay then. Yeah, she had to really pull out some of the big guns though with those headbutts and the kicks and eventually the like screw your neck dragon rana thing. So yeah, it was the Mayu special. She's just been on her shit since coming back. I don't know what happened. She didn't wrestle for a month and she was like, I must take out this bloodlust on everybody because it started with her folding an ancient Fukian death in half and has
Yeah.
escalated to her trying to kill UFC fighters. So I'm here for it. Mayu Iwatani, you are a
Might
god.
be the GOAT. Might be the GOAT. She every
Mm,
week she
mhm,
she kind of she
yeah.
furthers her argument. We were
You
talking
won't hear
about
any
that before this
complaints.
match.
Yeah.
And then this match comes and it's like, "Oh, she's psychotic."
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but the idea of the article I was going to write about Mayu that I never got to finish and I want to finish, was that, like, Mayu is, like, a scary figure in wrestling, because of how unscary she is, in that, you know she, like I said, she'll get the name of the town wrong. She will fail at saying Rigo Kukoku again. You know what I mean? Like she'll fuck everything up, and it's like hilarious, and she'll laugh, and she says, "Check it out," and all of that makes the fact that she can do this way scarier. Like it's so sick, and I don't know. Shuri's arms are too short to box with Mayu Iwatani.
You are damn right. That is a bar. Um, yeah, I don't know. Mayu Iwatani is just she is
I've gotten
any
sent this multiple times. I'm sorry. Somebody in Chicago, like
of
was
the Bull Nakano shirt.
yes, I have been getting this by multiple people today. That the Chicago police are trying to identify a man wearing a Bull Nakano t-shirt that is now hospitalized. That's not me. But I've gotten that 3 times in the past hour and a half of people being like, "Yo, it's doing all right."
That's incredible. Somebody did send that to me and was like, "They're on to Dylan," and I was like, "What?" And then I saw it. That's crazy. Um, yeah, that kind of went off the rails there a little bit, but
My apologies.
yeah,
I mean,
Mayu Iwatani.
you're beefing with Scott in the DMs right now. Like in our group chat, you are currently like sending gifts back and forth to each other, like sassing each
This
other.
this all started in our Facebook messages as well. Like Scott and I were messaging
This is
earlier.
multi-platform.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, "You're lucky I have to record, or else I would be bringing the heat." And then he came here for some smoke. He's such a little demon. Um, all right,
Oh man,
yeah, Mayu Iwatani. She is anything they need and everything. There is just nothing quite like her. You don't get a Mayu Iwatani very often. Some would say there's probably never been a wrestler quite like her.
bro,
So
we just talked about this entire match and how gross it was without even bringing up that like within the first 3 minutes, Mayu hit a dragon suplex on the apron. Like
yeah,
think about
yeah,
that. That wasn't even like like what the fuck.
yeah. It was violent, honestly. Like, if I hadn't watched so much old Joshi, I feel like I would be losing my mind at this match. Because they just went nuts. But obviously this is more in line with some of the stuff they were doing like 10 years ago, when
Mhm.
Kana was making her brain go fuzzy with Arisa Nakajima. Um, yeah, this was like incredibly raw, incredibly violent. Kind of threw the standard Stardom big match kind of format out the window and just went for it. And people love it. So maybe do that a bit more, guys. That would be
I
cool.
mean, that would have saved Mariah's title reign. So yeah,
Probably, yeah. You can
if
do
she was just
20-minute
if she was
matches
just
that are
throwing her
heated,
shit,
man.
if she was just throwing her fucking lariats, like just killing bitches, like that would have been. She would have had one of the best title reigns ever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in that.
But yeah, that's that match. Clubhouse leader for match of the year. Um, TJPW came close. I'll give them that. Miu and Masha was like
Tremendous.
partially there, but it's not. It was not. It did not have the
I felt
Mayu.
bad for that match because it's like that was such
Mhm.
a tremendous match, and then this match happened.
Yeah, how do you think Mio and Aquino feel? They had like a big title match, and everybody's just like,
God.
"Hey, Mayu and fucking Miu Yamashita there. They kicked ass." Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, Miu Momono was cool. But yeah, we have another show to review. So full disclosure, Stardom got these two shows up within the past like 24 hours. Okay, both
Not even
shows
past like 12 hours.
like very very recently. So I didn't get to see anything from the second show.
Me
The
neither.
first show, I got to see one match, and then I skimmed through the battle royals for the story beats. So, um, I wish I could dedicate my life to this thing, but we're not in positions to do that. If we did dedicate our lives to this, let me tell you, we would not shut up. You would hear from us every 2 days. Dylan
Oh
would
yeah.
be out here reviewing Wave. Like I would have him on the beat. So, we're making do with what we have. So
Oh
we'll go
yeah.
through some of the
Well,
Cork and
you
stuff.
brought up Review and Wave. Starlight Kid versus Kohaku. Incredibly underwhelming.
That's
That match
wild.
should have been great, and it just I
Maybe Sonny was right and Kid is actually bad. I don't know.
easy.
Well, I can't blame
You can't.
Kohaku now, can I? She's
That's
a
no,
beast.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. Trust me. Like Kohaku's sick. And that match was not Kohaku's fault. That's all I'm gonna say. But I wouldn't say those 3 words that you just said in that order ever in public. Just out of even with a maybe attached, it's still just not safe for anybody.
Hey, listen, man, it's fine. People might think I'm Sunny now. They might they might go a bit crazy.
Nah, you ain't in the blue shirt.
It's true. I do not own blue shirts. Actually, I lie. I think I am wearing a blue shirt as we speak. So maybe I don't know.
How do you? Okay, let's just move on.
What?
How do you
What was your
think
question?
you're wearing a blue shirt?
Because I'm wearing a hoodie over it, and I'm not arse checking. So
When did you change? Like when did you put your clothes on?
like over 12 hours ago now. It is midnight.
Oh yeah, it is midnight.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is midnight.
But no, it sounds like oh, I haven't seen this shirt in like days. I don't know. I don't know.
I think I made Scott cry. Oh no. So that
It
might be the
happens.
worst thing you've ever said to me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tell him to cry.
Jesus Christ. Oh, this is going downhill, y'all.
Did I said, and I quote, "Cry, bitch." So
It's
I
real.
love Scott. Scott's great. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this Korkan. So on
Hmm.
January 6th, we had New Year Stars 2024 in Korkan.
This dude, this motherfucker's beefing with one of our closest friends in in the scene instead of properly recording our podcast. This is great.
So sorry. It's just my phone is right there because I have to charge it. Um. Anyway, okay,
Oh
I'm
my
putting it
god.
down now. I'm putting it down. I swear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So this was Korkan on January 6th. They did 800 fans here, which I mean, in isolation is probably not a great number, but considering they had run Yokohama Budokan Sumo Hall and Tokyo Dome City Hall in the past
And
like 8
and Corkin,
days, yeah,
if within 14 days.
and the Korkan, yes. So 800 fans, pretty good when you consider all of that. This is only
Especially
four
because
matches.
there's nothing on the show.
So yeah, no, that's true. There was only four matches, although two were number one contenders matches. So I'll give them that. The opening match of the card anyway was Rana Yagami and Yuzuki taking on and defeating Sayaka Kurara and Hanako in 11 minutes when Yuzuki beat Sayaka. So
This looks kind of heater. Like this looks kind of cool. Like looking at the pictures, I haven't
11
seen it.
minutes is a hard sell. I won't lie to you, but maybe they do it.
I've also heard good things from others that this was a
That's
solid
fair.
match.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean they continue the trends there. Yuzuki beating Sayaka, Rana gets protected. Hanako not being able to beat Rana is kind of an interesting one, but that's
I
the main
imagine there is a
takeaway is
story to Hanako not being able to beat Yuzuki.
I would imagine
Uh,
there's stories to everything,
yes.
including Miyu Amasaki being the senior and not winning that one tag. Like I think
Yeah.
they'll come back to all of this and it'll be fantastic. Um, match after that then was a New Year champion tag battle. Syuri Ano and Micah wrestled to a 20-minute time limit draw with Julia and Mayu Iwatani. I did not realize until I saw all four in the ring just how loaded this was because I was like,
Mm.
"Holy shit, that is ridiculous!" Like they just did this match, just
I
threw it out there.
I wanna know. I appreciate the color coordination of the red belt and the white belt. Um, yeah. Micah is red and Soriano is white. Uh,
Yes,
and I think that's really cool.
that is very neat. They are very aesthetic. But yeah, this was a great match. I know you haven't seen it, but it was fantastic. There was a little bit too much of like the bits at the start. But once they got rolling, they got rolling. And even the bits were kind of funny. It was like Mayu being in a submission and being like, "Julia, help me, please." And Julia was like, I don't know, man." So it was good.
What are you gonna do when I'm not here? You have to help yourself. You gotta help
Yeah.
yourself.
But yeah, the final stretch was just a long Julia Micah thing. Like they went hard on that match. So I'm gonna be very surprised if they don't do that at some point down the line. Um, So yeah, I thought this was great. Just a nice exhibition match that kind of teased one of the big Micah wins that they have in their pocket. And after the match, everybody just like teased matches. Mayu was like, "Hey, I want to unify the belt with Julia. Hey, Ano, I want your belt." She made Ano touch her belt and then was like, "But I want yours."
Hey, touch it, touch it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't have it.
She literally lifted her hand
Hmm.
to the to the IWGP belt. It was it was something, but yeah, I thought that this was just a great Corkin match. Like crowd was into it. The wrestling was cool. I can't really complain.
It's incredible how Stardom Quirkins are like so much better than literally every other Stardom crowd in Japan.
Hmm.
Like no matter what. Like again, this is 800 people in here. It was better than the Ryogoku crowd, which is part of just how venue sizes work. But like this shit was hot. Like the crowd was insane for this. The Megan chants in the main event, incredible.
I am so upset that we're losing Megan.
As am I. As am I. I'm sure everybody can tell that like we're both very much fans of Megan. Um that's something I was thinking about. Good on Stardom for not missing as much with their foreign wrestlers.
You know, Sonny has said that he does it now, and I'm like, he might know ball. He might actually be really good at
Okay,
this
we need
because
to this is the
he
second
he
time in
he
like
said he
15
got
minutes. We need to
Bane.
calm down.
He said Bane is
No,
him.
I know he did. He did. I think
I'm
that
pretty
it's
sure
like
Mariah May was also him, and maybe Xena, and
he
they were
does
all
do a lot of
cool.
the scouting as far
So
as I'm
maybe
aware.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying Sonny might have an eye for some talent. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, they
Sonny.
are hitting.
Cuz
They are hitting
like
for
really
sure.
like the weakest foreigner of the past year was probably Jessie, and Jessie was fine. Like, like she
Yeah.
wasn't like
And J I mean,
Zaya.
Jesse got
Zaya
that
brings Zaya.
from oh, yeah, Zai doesn't count. Jesse definitely got that because she's friends with EO, so
Yeah.
she's
But
really good friends with some of them, so I think that's how she
yeah,
got
no, and
anyway.
that's fair. And I think she was friends with Kyrie as well at the time.
Mm.
And that would, but yeah, and like, and that's no disrespect to Jesse. That's just kind of a
That's
point
how
of like,
wrestling that's how business works, guys. You get
yeah,
friends and they help you get jobs. I'm sorry, this is how it works, like
I need more friends. Um, but yeah, like they've done a great job with foreigners. We aren't even talking about foreigner match. We're talking about this tag team match, but still, uh, they really have not missed much with the foreign wrestlers
To be fair, I think the
since they
standard
came
is
back.
just higher.
Yeah,
There are less Chelsea Diamonds, there are less, Britt
just name
Bakers.
wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah, just in general, like the standard is just better, I think. So it's harder to miss as badly. So
Especially
I
when
think
you're
that's
amongst
really it.
this roster of
Mm.
like you will get better or you will die trying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrestling Chris Wolf in a three-way tag or a three-way
Easy,
on the
but yeah,
second
you're right.
match of the card anymore. It's the
There are no
standard is just
days
higher.
off really.
Yeah, so
Even the clown is gonna make you work.
that's true. That's true. Well, she did get folded in half, so she's up for it. Um, but yeah, you didn't watch this tag, did you?
I did not.
There's no point in like letting you weigh in. But yeah, great
Oh,
match,
I did.
good
I did see
vibes.
the look shared by Soriano and Micah. Um, I text you this. I'm convinced that Micah is just attracted to every woman that's taller than her.
That sounds like most lesbians. I won't lie to
Uh,
you.
touche.
Okay. Listen, man, I have such basic taste. I cannot judge anyone, but yeah, it's just throwing it out there. Um, but yeah, we can move on from that
Mm.
match because the vibes were good. That's really all you need to know. Um, so we had a New Year Wonder Rumble. Starlight Kid won in 37 minutes, last eliminating Hanan to earn a shot at Sayori Ano's white belt. So they teased Hazuki versus Ano, and they're doing Kid versus Ano. Even though Hazuki was in this match,
She
means
got
they're
eliminated
either
by Kid off of the top rope
yeah,
when she was trying to do a superplex.
yes, they're either saving Hazuki versus Ano, um, or they just went into business for themselves and decided to tease it. So I don't know. I would
Or
hope they're saving it because Hazuki is gonna win because that would be cool. But I don't know.
that would be nice. I Hazuki winning the wipeout is like my wish for the year in
Mm.
Stardom. Um, Also, there's smaller ones like get Hanan a fucking title match, please, Jesus. But like Hazuki winning the wipeout is the big one. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want, and I hate that we've brought him up 3 times within the past 20 minutes. But it is interesting that Sonny was talking mad shit about Kid is about to get way over pushed. And then in a match that seemed like it was Hazuki's back, Starlight Kid wins.
Hmm.
Like it did not feel like Starlight Kid was going to win this match whatsoever before this match happened. Um, for me at least. Like that's just, but that is interesting. I'm not giving him any sort of, but it is a thought process. It is a food for your thought or whatever. The match itself, first like 12 to 15 minutes were really fun, and then for about I don't know like the next 15, it was rough because motherfuckers were just like around. You know what I mean? Like once the Lady C's got in there, the Unimons got in there. Uh, there was still some good stuff, but it was like few and far between. You know what I mean? And then it kind of kicked back up with the Hanan closing stretch. So yeah, the first 12 minutes with like Hanan, Meisera, Azumi, and Kid especially, um, very fun stuff.
Hmm.
And then from there, it kind of became a rumble. You know what I mean? Effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I skimmed through this as I said, and there seemed to be a lot of there seemed to be some interesting stuff to kind of pick on.
Yeah,
Hanan and May starting off as the first two to continue whatever they had.
I
You
feel
had
like the first
Azumi
four
coming
were
in,
interesting because I've
definitely. Yeah.
mentioned before that like there are tiers of this generation where it's like Hanan
Hmm.
and May are below Azumi and Kid who are below Suzu. And Suzu was in the red belt match, and that's kind of
Hmm.
like indicative of that. So I did find that interesting that they continue to kind of pair in some ways those four off. And I like that personally. But go on.
Yeah, I think it was interesting about Hanan with the high speed ones as part of
Mhm.
that, considering her beef with May Sarah. But yeah, they started it with those feuds, the May and Hanan. They went to Azumi and May. They went to Kid versus Azumi. Then the story stuff kind of laxed until Saki got back in and
Yes.
started
One thing I
being
do
a
want to note
character.
that I thought was very funny is Ida came in with the House of Fire and was chopping everybody. She
Mhm.
was chopping all of her opponents, and then she chopped Hanan, and Hanan was like, "Whoa, what the fuck? We're homies." And then she chopped her again, and Hanan just like yelled at her and like like stood up to her and like I don't know. She just got taller because she's so tall in comparison to Saida, and Saida just fell back. She's like, "My bad, my bad. Please don't hurt me." And I found that
Incredible.
very funny because Hanan is very rarely in that scenario where she like beefs up to someone. I was like, "Hey, what the fuck you do?" And I thought that was so sick. But go on about Saki.
Yeah, Saki was a character. She was hiding away. She massaged Hanako at one point to avoid getting in the ring. Um, she celebrated with Ida, rolled her up, then got rolled up by Fukigen. Perfect. And no notes. Beautiful.
Tokyo splits.
Um, Hazuki and Kid did some teasing as well. I thought they did a very that's a wonder title match exchange. You can
Hmm.
tell when there's a white belt exchange a
To be
mile
fair,
away.
it's always Suzuki. It's just because I think that's just Suzuki.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, they did some interesting stuff here to kind of pair people up and maybe keep some stuff going. Uedo Tai got to like cheat for a little bit, and that was their thing. I think the final two being Hanan and Kid is pretty big. Um, you know, I maybe read into it a little bit too much, but Hanan and Kid should really hate each other.
Mhm.
Kid turned on Stars. Hanan was forced to stand up taller in Stars because Kid left. She abandoned them.
I think even more than that, as I've said before, it's very much, and this has been the case for shit 6, 7 years now. Um, Hanan has this entire time been in Kid and Azumi's shadow, right?
Mhm.
As the Kid wrestlers, right? Because she was a little bit younger. Not by that much. Like I think people forget that Hanan's only like a year and a half, 2 years younger than or I guess it'd be like 2.5 years younger than Azumi, which is not that much. Like she's not. It's not like she was like a baby while Azumi was, like they're all very relatively close in age. So
Mhm.
like Hanan has always kind of had that chip on her shoulder against Azumi and against Starlight Kid. Um, and we saw that in the 5-star match with Hanan against Azumi, and we saw that in the triple threat match, the tag match, the New Blood tag match
Yeah.
with Hanan and Kid. So, and personally, this is the hottest take I might have. Um, in the modern day, I think Hanan gets more fun out of her matches against and her exchanges against Azumi and against Kid than Azumi and Kid have against each other. Um, because Azumi and Kid kind of have this pressure on them to be Azumi and Kid when they're against each other, if that makes sense. And I think Hanan gets out like the real best of both of them. So I actually like this closing stretch. I thought
Mm.
Hanan did really well against Kid. Hanan's incorporating some Hazuki-isms into her game because she did the murder forearms, which I think are good because her forearms are kind of hit or miss when it comes to like the thud of them, I guess. And if you can't get a thud, just fucking throw your arm at the other person and try to kill him. Like I think that's the second best option there. So yeah, I was really happy with Hanan getting that closing stretch. I thought she did a great job. Even though I knew Kid won, Hanan got like I think a 17 on her, and I was like, I almost thought that I had like not heard something or people were punking me. Like
Right.
I was so into it because Hanan did a great job and Kid did well as well.
Yeah, I think Hanan being in the final two is pretty big.
Yes.
Making it from start to finish isn't a coincidence.
It also,
Um,
I apologize because I've been talking a lot, but it also ties into the 5-star Rumble because that was what Hanan was kind of like going off of. She's like, well, the last time we had a Rumble, I won.
mm,
So I'm just going to do that again. And so she won to the same point that she won last time because last time there was two winners.
yes.
So like she's been in the final two of both of the big Rumbles that you can think of on these house shows. Uh, let's not talk about pay-per-views. But so I think that was kind of an interesting thing as well. Um, but yeah, sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean they've just been very obvious with her. Getting her into the GP, getting a few wins, winning some of the matches when she was teaming with Mayu in Tag League.
Mhm.
Now she gets to the final two in this big battle royal. She gets, she starts first as one of the first two. She's a focus throughout the match, and she just loses out to Kid. I mean, I don't know what they do with Hanan this year, but it feels like there's something that they are brewing with her. Like I don't think you do so many small steps with her to not take the leap at some point in the next 12 months because
Yeah.
it's just getting there's too much now for it to be a coincidence. Like there's been too many moments where she's been presented as on the level of some of these actually pushed people for her to just stay in stasis, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she's getting so good so quickly. I mean she's been good for a while, but she just continues to get better. Um, and I really like where they're going with her. Hopefully, I will say with these rumbles, I think the disappointing thing for me is that uh, a Hanan type didn't win. In that
Mm,
I felt like this was like an opportunity rumble, like both this and the world one, but the world one a little bit less so. So it's like Starlight Kid could have just walked up to Ariano and requested a match. Like she could have done that without the rumble. Same with Saya Kamatani and a little bit less so because Saya Kamatani hasn't really been doing much since her injury. She's only had one singles match, I think. But Starlight Kid could have walked up to Soriano and was like, "Hey, I want a match." Somebody like a May Sarah or a Hanan doesn't have that uh momentum, like that strength, that booking strength, quote unquote, that kayfabe strength. I think them winning this would have been cool because it would have been like, oh, well, this is kind of like they won not necessarily because they are the strongest wrestler or they are among the main event wrestlers, but because they were smart and they just kind of maybe not get lucky. I think that's a bad way to kind of look at it. But I don't know. I kind of wish some undercard wrestlers, or a undercard wrestler won one of these matches, just because it's like I felt like that was kind of the point. Is like, oh, it's like a opportunity match. It's like a Money in the Bank. It's like what was the Money in the Bank for? People who did not have matches at Mania. Like that's what it was made for. I thought it would have been cool if they kind of got a Hanan win here or a Maesero win here. Just somebody that can't just challenge convincingly. Like, does that make sense?
Yes. But I'm just I don't mind it, to be honest.
Of course you don't mind. Isn't it like past midnight? You
Yeah.
sound tired. You sound like you just
Yeah.
fell asleep while I was talking. That's my bad.
I had to fight the urge, I won't lie to you. You gotta avoid the monologues just for my sake,
Mm.
for today. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just if you have a challenger in mind, just do it, you know? The rumbles are just a means to the end, really. Um, and I would like to see more of this sort of stuff with crowning number one contenders. And I don't think it should always mean that there's a surprise, otherwise people start to expect
Yeah.
the surprises. So yeah, I would just go with Kid if I wanted to go with Kid. Um, and as far as V1 fodder go, I think she's fine. She was somebody that I thought could win before the
I'm
match.
concerned that she is not V1 fodder.
Listen, they've been very obvious. They're doing Poi and Ano for this belt. So I don't think Kid is going to win. And to be honest, with the way the white belt goes, her losing and then winning it in like 6 months is so them. That is exactly
Yeah.
up their alley for
No,
the white
because
belt.
that's actually that's true. I think the way I see it, is and I just saw the Tokyo Sports thing where Suriano straight up said that
Hmm.
she needs to hold it until Natsuko comes back. Um, I think that they're probably going to give Kid a long reign with the wipeout. So like the idea of like, oh well, Suriano could drop it to Kid and then Kid can drop it to Natsupoi, and then they could do the Ano versus Poi match. I don't think Ano might not be in the company by the time that Natsupoi gets that belt. If Kid was up next, like that's where my fear came in. So I hope you're right because I don't think Kid is ready for the white belt. Especially, I have questions about her as a singles wrestler post return from her ankle injury because a lot of what made her good was her athleticism, and she doesn't quite have that as much anymore. Um, so I am a bit uh, cautious about Kid as a singles wrestler a month coming off of a pretty bad ankle injury. So I hope that she doesn't win it there, but I don't know. The conspiracy against Kid, it might have gotten to me.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Indeed.
The next match then was a New Year World Rumble. Sai Kamatani beat Mina Shirakawa in 32 minutes with a Phoenix Strike, which is her new finisher,
It's the Emerald
to
Explosion
win.
gimmick.
Yes,
It's the
that's
Emerald
it.
Explosion gimmick that she hit on Suzu
Hmm.
2 months ago, and
I
I was like, why
remember.
the fuck is that not her finish? And now it
I don't
is.
remember. I don't remember much, but I do remember that.
Yeah.
Um, And this was a lot less heavy on the story stuff than the White Belt, I thought. It was just a lot of, hey, here's these cool pairings, or hey, here's people who are feuding, and they just threw them together. Like obviously you got Mina getting to eliminate Nanai, which is kind of I hope that's not her only big win over Nanai. You had
Oh
Aphrodite
yeah, Rina
eliminating
eliminated Zumi. That was a big thing. Uh,
that she did, yeah, she
For some
threw her over
people.
the top.
I watched it and I was like, "No, that makes sense." Like, Azumi
Pretty
was
standard.
running too fast, and then Rina just caught up with her and pushed her. Like, that's all that
Hmm.
happened, and it makes total sense. Like, that's a perfect way
Yeah,
to
I
get to
agree.
eliminate an Azumi out of a rumble. Sorry, I just wanted to
I'm with
note
you.
that.
That's all right. But yeah, you had Aphrodite teaming up to eliminate Megan. You had Syuri and Utami kind of messing each other up and getting eliminated at the same time because they wouldn't stop fighting. Um, this says Kashima. Saki Kashima was not in this
She
match.
was not in this match
Why?
now.
Why is that there? Um, but yeah, this was a lot less story heavy and just a lot more. Hey, these people are feuding. And hey, these people may like rarely interact, so how cool is this? Like they had Tora and
This was a lot
Syuri, I
more
think,
snappy.
teaming up, and it was really interesting to see.
Only briefly,
Um,
because they teamed up on like
very
one
briefly,
move, and then they were like, "Yeah, let's keep going." And then Natsuko slugged her,
yeah.
and I thought
But
that
it
was
was
sick.
it was still cool to see.
I thought this match was
You know,
very well done. I thought this match was a lot better done than the Wonder match. Personally, I think that it just was a little bit more snappy. It was a little bit more like focused, I guess, because the first chunk of it was Megan just being this monster. You know, what I mean, she pinned Natsuko Tora like it was nothing, just in the middle of the ring with an F5. Uh, which is kind of insane considering she's probably leaving within within the next month. Uh, I would kind of hope because if they aren't begging her to come back by now, what the fuck are they doing? Uh, yeah, I thought this was like Megan did a tremendous job. I know this is the third time we've talked about how great Megan is, but Megan did a tremendous job. She won a 3-on-1. Like Ami, Saya, and Utami were all beaten up on her, and she just killed them all, and then ran to the ropes and was foiled by Ruaka tripping her. I found that so funny that she has took out two of the tag team champions and also like one of the top powerhouses in the company and and fell, took her first bump to Ruaka grabbing her leg. I thought that was very funny. Um, and yeah, I thought this match was really really fun.
that sounds good. Honestly,
Mm.
I mean, it looked fun. I was very upset I couldn't watch it. Just looking at who was paired off. So yeah, I hope to dig into that at some point. Um, yeah, that's it. Saya and Micah, which is a bit earlier than I expected. Because I thought that
See,
would
now
be.
this I'm sure Sai is losing, obviously.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the things where I wish they had kept it because Micah and Saya can kind of beat each other whenever. So if you kept this for like a V4 or V5, I think it gets a lot more unpredictable.
I
But
think
for
that's assuming
V1,
that she gets to V5.
well, you have to do at least to
Looking
V. I would
at
imagine you have to go
how
to at least 3 to get Julia. So,
well no, because there's only one more title match before the big show.
um, maybe I don't know. Is it not one in March?
There is one singular one
Cinderella
in
final. She might
yeah,
defend it then.
it's
So yeah, that's V3 with Julia then. So,
oh V3 against Julia. I thought you meant
yeah.
get to V3 and then Julia.
No, no, Julia would be V3, and then
Yeah, no, that makes
Saya
sense.
can
That
be
makes sense.
V4, V5. So yeah, I would have kept it for there just because of their past and the unpredictability. But it's fine for V1 as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I'm sure it'd be great. They work well together. For people who don't know, they had some killer matches a few years ago for the future belt mainly.
I mean,
So
they're
yeah,
the first pairing. I believe Peps tweeted this that they are the first pairing to fight for like every single championship. That's not the SWA belt.
that's incredible.
Like every championship in the
Yeah,
company, pretty much. They fought for the
like
future,
career
both
rivals.
tags, the white belt, and now the red belt.
That's incredible.
And
That's
that's
really cool.
within 4 years.
Hmm.
Insanity.
I like it. But yeah, that was that show. That was that Corkin.
Hmm.
So they got up the next show as well, but I didn't see any of this. It was the New Year Stars 2024 in Nagoya, in the Nagoya International Conference Center, in front of 511 fans, which I don't know if that's a good number or not. I didn't check.
Wait, how
Um,
many?
511.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
And why did you ask?
No, because I'm. Well, I don't know. I was just wondering. My bad.
No, it's okay. Well, now I feel bad. Jeez. All right. Anyway, we had Mina Shirakawa beating Yuna Mizumori and Starlight Kid. Great for your kid who's winning the white belt agenda right there. Mina pinned Yuna with the glamorous collection Mina, which is her roll up finish.
Yeah, the angel twist back in the day.
Angel twist, yeah. We had Saki Kashima and Ami Sore beating Hazuki and Saya Ida. Jeez, Saki
This is
Kashima beat Saya Ida. That's
yeah,
wild.
that's the story. Like they've been kind of telling that. Well,
That's crazy. Apparently,
no.
she
Oh,
like
the
stole
worst
the pin
thing.
off of Ami.
Yeah, that's
So,
depressing.
yeah, Blue Thunder Bomb into a Saki Kashima win. That's crazy.
Man,
Um,
we need Momokogo back immediately so Ida can take a few less pins.
dude, what happened to Momo Coco? She like just
Just a
disappeared off the
commentary.
face of the earth. Yeah, that's crazy. Our next match then was Rani Yagami, Yuzuki, and Hanako beating Sayaka
Oh
Kurara,
man,
Lady C, and Azumi. And
I need to
Hanako beat
see.
Carrara Brainbuster. 11 minutes.
I
What
need
do
to
you need to see?
see this pissing contest between Azumi and Rana, because you just know these motherfuckers were trying to kill each other because
Maybe?
they did a kickoff, like they, you know.
Oh, Azumi, that is dangerous business, girl. That is not your forte, honey.
I mean,
Don't
it
do it.
is. It used to be. She just kind of doesn't do as much.
Yeah, so don't test Rana. Rana will take you out.
Wait, how the fuck
Um,
did poor Carrara, bro?
yeah, Hanako winning that one is interesting. But yeah, Carrara is just the real
Oh
pin
my
eater of
god,
the
the
bunch.
fucking glare that Hanako gave to Yuzuki in this
That's nasty.
we're on the roster page if anybody, or not the roster page, the
The
results page
results.
on WWR-stardom.com. Hanako is like, she looks like a zombie and she's just gonna
Oh,
fucking
that's
kill
that's
her.
wild. That is crazy. Dude, who did your makeup? That looks horrendous. Is it makeup or is it just a weird shadow?
I think it's just a shadow.
Um, eye bags for days, I guess. I don't know.
Easy.
But yeah,
She looks badass, I'm
Hanako
not gonna lie.
Hanako and Yuzuki hating each other is so cool. I love shit like that. Just hate each other, guys. It's that
Yeah,
easy.
she's not even wearing makeup, it's just the shadow. That's interesting.
That's crazy. We then had a first round bye in the New Year tag tournament. Watanabe got COVID. I
Yeah.
didn't think people still got
It's a
COVID.
throwback.
Yeah. Um, but Hanan and Mayu got a bye to the next round. Because yeah,
They
Momo
did.
the virus. That's crazy. How do you avoid it for 4 years and then get it? Like that's what I don't understand.
Which, wait, how? Oh, wait, what
Uh,
the fuck? No, no, I'm just interested in like, oh, are there draws? Is there a bunch of draws?
oh yes.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say,
So
how does it go to from round one to the finals on Star World?
yeah. So Mai Sakurai and Julia wrestled to a 10-minute draw with Mei Sarah and Suzu Suzuki,
That's
so both
so dumb,
teams
by the
were
way.
eliminated. Tell me about it.
One of these
I
teams are challenging for the tag belts next week, and one of these
Yeah,
teams
but it's
is
only 10
somebody
minutes.
leaving and my Sakurai.
It's only 10 minutes. It's okay, don't worry. And
Why
it's
were they?
better to do it here than have Crazy Star take a pin later.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, a draw works here with Julia, um, who has May or
Poor
Mai
Uaka,
as her.
man.
Okay. I will find out why you said that soon. Our next match was also in the New Year Tag Tournament first round. Megan Bain and Micah went to a 10-minute draw with Mariah and Syuri. Yeah, I'm not shocked there wasn't a winner there. That's duh.
The reason I say it is that she's the only wrestler to get pinned in. Oh wait, no, I guess
That's
Hanan
nasty.
got pinned in 10 minutes, in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we had Saya and Utami. They beat Rocca and Natsuko Tora in 6.5 minutes when Utami pinned Rocca with a German suplex in the first round of the tag tournament. Both Eye Contact and Aphrodite then received byes to the final because the other teams had been eliminated by draws. At which point, Saya and Utami beat Hanan and Mayu to win the New Year Tag Tournament when Saya pinned Hanan in 9 minutes with a Phoenix Strike, which is her new finish, I guess. No more,
Yes,
no more Star Crusher, I guess. No more Phoenix
the Star
Splash.
Crusher kind of is kind of weak now.
Well, she used it to beat Momo the other day, so I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
it's fine. What do you mean exactly? Momo Watanabe, not your Momo.
Yeah, no, I know. And Utami used her D finisher to pin Natsuko in that same match.
That's fair, I guess that's fair. So it was only after this that Aphrodite accepted the Crazy Star Challenge. Like they waited until they won a tournament to be like, yeah, actually, we'll defend.
You know what my idea was for this tournament?
Well,
Um, if they put the belts on the line throughout the night.
yeah, I guess.
The only issue is then
Why
it
not?
would kind of, you'd have to do some rematches. In that, like, I think Eye Contact will probably get a tag title match against
Yeah, but it's a
Aphrodite.
10-minute time limit, so I think you'd be okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm kind of
So,
thinking. Plus, they want that record. I think that this could have been an easy way to kind of
dude,
get
they are
that.
speed running to that. That is
They could
crazy.
have they could have
Um,
sped run to that. I think it would have been sick.
yeah. Um, that was that show.
Mhm.
Our last show to review is not up, so I'll just run through the results. This is on January 8th. This is New Year's Stars 2024 in Anjo. It's at 274 fans. In the opener, Saya Kamatani and Yuzuki beat Rana Yagami and Saya Ida. This match was changed from a handicap match, I think, because somebody was pulled from the shows, but I don't know who.
Oh,
Um,
okay, so my Sakura was pulled from the first show. Momo was pulled from
yeah.
this show. Miyu was pulled due to the
Oh,
flu.
Miyu Masaki, yes. So I think Miyu was meant to be teaming with Saya. No, because Saya was already in this match. So I don't know. I don't know. That's my answer. I have no idea. Because I think this was meant to be Saya versus Yuzuki and Rana, like Saya
No,
Kamatani.
so what this was. Wait, what did this end up being? No, this is exactly what it ended up being from the looks of it.
Yeah, but I
It's
think
it's what's on the schedule.
it was originally a 1-on-2. I'm pretty sure they said in the news bit that they changed it.
Huh,
Yeah, because it
interesting.
was I think it was Sai Kamatani versus the Rooks, but then they changed it.
That oh man, remember when they used to do that? They used
Yes,
to
I
have like
remember
Viper
Viper.
kill the
Yeah,
children.
Viper. Yeah, just beating 3 of them at once. Let's just cause
She
like
she beat Hanan, Rina, and Hina within like 4 minutes in a
mhm,
1-on-3 handicap match. It was so sick.
crazy shit. Um, we then had Hanako and Maika beating Sayaka Kurara and Mina Shirakawa. Maika beat Sayaka in 7 minutes with the Sasanka. Is that the Anka Toshi?
Maybe.
She,
Uh
she, she didn't even
oh no
pull
no
out
no
a
it's
proper
the
move.
it's the it's the STO.
That's crazy. She didn't even pull out a proper move. That is
She used to
nasty.
beat people with that. She used to beat people with that
Yeah, maybe.
like years ago.
Um,
This is
we,
definitely what I think we're leading to, by the way, is Hanako being Micah's
well, yeah, she's the new Micah. So like, or not? She's the new
Himeka.
Micah. She's the new Himeka. Yeah,
So I think that's where we're going with that.
that's
Um,
crazy. Just pair Micah up with tall women until the end of eternity, I guess. Um,
that's she doesn't have creative control. She has controls whether or not she gets to be in the ring with tall women or not.
we need to stop this horn dog
It's
Micah from like.
okay. No, that's not my fault. I'm not even talking about the time that she tried to kiss Tall
I
Saya.
called her
Or
a horn dog.
I know, but
She's the
I'm not
problem.
exactly. That's my point.
And we need to stop her from, being all gay for these women, I guess.
Hey,
I don't know.
she's the red belt champion. She does what she does.
Yeah, she's allowed to fawn over tall women, I guess.
I get
Until
it.
she loses the belt, then
Yeah,
she has to stop. That's the
yeah.
rule. Okay. All right.
Speaking of tall women, the next one lost.
Yeah, crazy. Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira beat Lady C and Ami Sourei in 8.5 minutes when Suzu pinned Lady C with the tequila shot. So we're seeing a lot of C tier finishers being pulled out. Disrespect up and down the card. We also had Azumi and Utami beating Mai and Julia, and Utami won in 11 minutes with a German suplex hold on Mai Sakurai. That just seems to be her
Oh
finisher
yeah,
now.
wait. We didn't mention
Only from
that
German.
for the DDM split is that my Sakura's like, oh, I don't care. I'm hanging out with Julia. This bitch gotta protect me.
Yeah, you gotta have a pin here, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Um,
they are still united.
mhm.
Despite Julia being like, I'm gonna be alone. My Sakura is the new Andres Miyagi, but a lot worse. Um,
That is not true.
it
That
is
is
actively true.
Andros is not better than my Sakurai. I'm sorry.
Andras was definitely she was definitely better than my Sakura. I'm not
Andras
even gonna
for
have to qualify
maybe
it.
like a total of 3 months was when she was motivated, and since then has not ever
I'd
come
say
close.
deeply unmotivated Andras Miyagi at the end of her run was around the same level as my Sakurai on her
Mm,
average day.
I don't
And
know.
I'd say
Yeah, that's harsh.
if Michiko gives even the slightest amount of a fuck, she's better than my Sakurai.
No, no,
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never seen this. I've never seen this.
You're
Sorry.
blind.
I've been watching Miyagi
Open
for a
your
long time.
eyes. Open your eyes to Big Meech. Did you hear that they killed the women's division and she just has to fight the dudes now?
Dude, that's Shima for you, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, it's Shima.
Shima loves him some women just not
Ca
in the ring.
Kaz Hayashi was kind of the one who was like, "Oh, we should have like a strong women's division," and then she was like, "No," and it's funny that the day that Kaz Hayashi says he's retiring in the next few months is the day that the women's division dies.
That's gas, dude. What did Shima ever do to like get any of this?
He
He
was
looks weird. That's
cool in
all.
Dragon Gate for a while.
Sure, man. Does he draw? Is he a draw? Is he a star? Is he a thing? Do people just like him because he's Shima now?
Kinda.
Kinda. Okay. All right.
I think he's very washed personally, but that's my
I mean,
take.
probably he's like 70. He looks 70. I don't know. I like Strong Hearts for a little bit, but that was it.
That was
Um,
the other ones, to be fair. The other ones are still good
that's true. Yeah.
sometimes when they
Oh,
care.
what's his name? T-Hawk. He was
T-Hawk
chill.
T-Hawk
What,
just lost the
what's
Glate belt
T-Hawk up to?
to
No
he just
way.
lost the Glate belt to Hayato Tamura, who was Taka's prophecy. Taka was
No
like,
way.
my two students are gonna win the big belts on the same day. And they did. Or back to back days.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
T-Hawk
okay.
just
All
lost it
right.
to Tamura.
That's solid. Okay. So
Now I'm
we
now
then
I'm
had
hoping we get a Tamura versus Michiko Miyagi match. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about right there.
yeah, sure, I guess. We had Syuri Ano, Megan Bain, and Yuna Mizumori beating Saki Kashima, Mirai, and Syuri. Ano pinned Saki Kashima in just under 10 minutes with a pottering.
I
And
love how you skipped over something.
I did? No, I didn't.
Scroll up a little bit. Oh,
What?
are you not on the Tam Nakano addressing the crowd?
Did she say anything this time? Did she? Like, I didn't see
Uh,
anything come from this. This looks like it was the exact same as her other promo.
I can't play today due to knee injury. I'll just say hello. Sorry. I recently won the women's pro wrestling. What? It's the exact same thing.
It's literally
Oh my
bar for bar. Like,
god. She just
what do you
swapped
want
out
from
the
me here?
names of the towns. That's crazy.
This is their version of talking battles. You know how these like shindy feds will do talk battles so they can advertise stars? This is their version. It's hey, Tam
Oh
Nakano
my god.
will say hello and mention her women's pro wrestling
The
award
Tam
victory.
Nakano Town Hall?
Yeah, why the hell not? Let's go. Tam Nakano talk battles. Let's go. Um, we then, yeah, I don't know. The main event of the show was Stars beating away to tie. Who the hell cares anymore? Has Hanan
Yeah.
is just winning all the
With
time
the
now. So
teardrop on Ruaka. And it looks like she killed Ruaka in that picture.
that's crazy. I like that. Yeah, they're definitely doing something with Hanan this year. There's no way she's winning and closing shows. Oh, she didn't get to close the show. Tam closed the show. That's crazy. Yeah, the Mayu invited Tam in to close the show, which I don't understand. Mayu, she is your op. Like she gaslit you for like 6 months and then left. Why are
And
you
you
being
hated
nice to
her?
her?
Or, yeah, you hated her for a brief period of time but wouldn't tell
Why
anybody?
why is it so hard for anybody to be like consistent in this company? Like just why do you like
We're
Tam
talking
now?
about Mayu.
Just
We're talking about Mayu. And Tam.
Mayu
Jesus.
always remembers her ops, let's be
Yeah,
honest
but
though.
Tam is the least consistent. Like, she has the illusion of consistency. Where it's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I get it.
I'll write an entire lore thread, pretending like I care about something from 8 years ago despite this it not mattering at all." That's the Tam Nakano right there. That's the Tam road.
All right.
I think we're getting sassy. I think we might need to move on.
Yeah, I'm about to say some stuff about Tam. That's Anyway, there's two
She stole
shows.
Hanan's moment, and that is,
She did. That's crazy though. Like, why are you giving the microphone away to Tam? Like, I don't get it. She had her moment to speak already. Just let your young
this is
ace
Hanan's part,
figure
nobody
close the
else
show.
speak, in the
Yeah,
words of
literally.
Chance the Rapper.
Anyway, earlier today, for anybody who's interested, Miyu Amasaki wrestled in Gato Move. She wrestled Mei Saruga. Did a nice little 292 fans. They actually announced they're running Korkauen for the first time
Oh,
ever in August, I want to say.
I hope they do
As
well.
part of their 8th anniversary. Yeah, I hope they do well. I
I
kind of
don't know
like
if
Gato
you saw
Move.
anything from the match. I haven't seen the match, but I saw a clip because
Is
this
it up?
entire week. No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
At
so
least as far
that's
as
the
I'm
issue.
aware. But there was a
But
clip on Twitter of because Azumi all week was like trying to figure out who she should second because
Mhm.
Miyu's her tag team partner, but Mei Saruga is cute. Um, like that is
I
that's
love it.
actually that's
I
actually
like it.
that's actually the bit, right? Is that Azumi's like, yeah, but like, but May's so cute. Look at her. I love Mei Saruga. Like, and she was, struggling with that. So she was at ringside, and they ended up having a cute on purpose contest where they both did the thing with their hands beneath their face and like being cute. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about? The Mei Saruga thing.
Mhm.
They did that, and they had a contest, and Azumi chose Mei Saruga, and Miyu threw a fit.
I'm not sure I want to watch this match anymore.
I'm sure otherwise
Um,
it was great though. I mean,
yeah,
that was
maybe.
also that popped me. That was funny to me.
Oh, dude, did you see this? Riho was in the same match as Haragi Kurumi.
Yes.
That's badass. I might
And I
watch
think
that.
Obi here was in that too. Obi's
Oh, it
really
was a
good.
mix. Was it a
She's
mix?
just
Oh no, yeah, yeah, Saka Obihiro. Who's the other woman with Riho? I don't know,
no
Shine
clue.
Blade. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But yeah, Maceruga beat Kevin in 11 minutes. So just in case you were wondering. But yeah, there'll probably be some Stardom involvement on that Corkin. Rossi was pictured with Emmy and was like, "Hey, I think working together is cool."
He called her a
So yeah,
genius.
she is. I
She
mean,
is. No,
shit.
I mean he's right. Like don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but
He mentioned AEW in that tweet too, just because she is an AEW wrestler, and I'm surprised that people haven't already been like, "Oh my god,
there are no
he's."
eyeball emojis.
Somehow, no, people have been normal about it, which is pretty crazy. Um, right. So we have two shows to preview before I just conk out and give up. Um, First is on the 13th of January. This is New Year Stars in Osaka, Day 1 in Osaka Edion Arena, number 2. In our opener, we have Yuna Mizumori versus Rana Yagami.
Ooh, rare singles W for Yuna Mizumori.
You would hope so, or else she really has to start asking
She
questions.
needs to leave. If she
Yes.
loses to Rana, she needs to get out
Yeah.
immediately.
We then have Lady C versus Mai Sakurai. Oh dear God. Um, we have Mei Sarah, Hanako, and Yuzuki versus Natsuko Tora, Uraka, and Fukigen Death. I would imagine the way to tie wins there.
Yeah.
Um,
Hanako will probably blame it on Izuki.
I hope so. I hope so. We then have Utami Hayashishita and Mio Masaki versus Mina Shirakawa and Sayaka Kurara. So yeah, Sayaka is getting Germaned onto her dome.
Yep.
Um,
She'll sell well.
I hope so. We have Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki Hanan, and Ida versus Syuri, Mirai, Amisori, and Saki Kashima. I don't know. God's Eye, maybe, I guess, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, honestly.
We have a Wonder of Stardom Championship Prelude tag. Syuri Ano and Suzu Suzuki take on the Black Desire team of Starlight Kid and Momo Anabe. That is a really good match.
Oh, that's a draw. But that is a good match.
They can't both be draws. So,
What else did you say was gonna be a draw?
well,
Oh, the
I would
prelude?
imagine the other preliminary
Homie,
pack.
you have way more faith in Nazumi than I do.
Yeah, but they love Divine Kingdom draws. Like
That's true.
Rossi
That's true.
sees Divine Kingdom and just put the little draw next to them just out of habit at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make a good point. So yeah, that white
Even
belt
though that's
prelude.
meant to be the main event, so I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, they might flip the script. I don't know.
Oh wait, no,
Um,
that's the main event. So yeah, it's gonna be Megan over Azumi
Good point.
or Megan over
But yeah,
Azumi.
we have a World of Stardom preliminary battle as well, which is Divine Kingdom versus Saya Kamatani and Azumi. So two prelude tags, two pretty good
Oh
and
yeah,
interesting matches, I would
Azumi
say.
also threatened Megan with a knife last week
Cool.
on Twitter because
That sounds beast.
there's a picture of Azumi with a knife, um, and she posted it and said I don't know like she said like one of these days in English or something.
Wow.
I'm gonna find it real quick. I apologize, just because
Do
I
in,
remembered
please.
it. It's I'll get you for this. That's what she said. I'll get you for this with her holding a knife. And then afterwards she replied, "I don't speak English, but I think that's right." If it's not, you get my point from the photo.
It's
uh,
incredible.
so yeah, I think Megan might just kill her.
Cool. Our second show to preview is New Year's Stars 2024 in Osaka, Day 2 in Osaka Edion Arena number 2. We have Lady C versus Miyu Amasaki. Or no, it's not. That's not.
That's
That's not
definitely
who
not
that
Lady
is.
C.
That is Mai
I was
Sakurai
staring right
versus.
at her. I was like, do you know something I don't?
That is Mai Sakurai and Miyu Amasaki.
It is,
Okay,
yes.
Mai Sakurai winning, I guess.
Hopefully not.
Um, we have Azumi versus Rocca. Finally, a winnable match for Azumi.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
They just
god.
ran that like less than a month ago.
Yeah, they did. We have Mina Shirakawa versus Lady C. And Mina dub. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
At least I pray. I hope
I mean,
so.
she did
We'll
just
see.
win in the match
Yes.
we just talked about on the Andrea show.
Yeah, but I didn't see that, so it doesn't count.
And you're gonna
Doesn't
see this?
exist. We'll see.
Yeah.
We then have Stars versus the rookie class. It is Mayu, Hazuki, Hanan, and Ida versus Hanako, Yuzuki, Rani Agami, and Sayaka Kurara.
I'm actually
So
really excited for this match.
yeah, that's probably going to be like the second best match of the show, maybe. I would assume. So.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
be.
All right.
Because Hanan, as I've said, has taken a keen interest in Yuzuki. I think she maybe not helped train her, but they're she was around a lot. Hazuki obviously is like you know queen of the rookies. She will kill you and train you and then kill you again. And Mayu probably won't do anything, but if she does, it'll be cool. As same with Ida, pretty much. Ida and Hanako will probably do some cool stuff.
I hope so. That would be nice. We then have Syuri, Amisore, Saki Kashima, and Mirai versus Natsuko Tora, Momonabe, Starlight Kid, and Fukigen Death. Sure, I don't know. Who
You know how
cares?
I mentioned that the worst combination used to be DDM versus Oedo Tai?
Mm-hmm.
I think I found the new one.
Yeah, we got Amisore in this one, so
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry. I
and
can't even pretend to be nice to
Saki Kashima's
Amisore.
bits are not going to survive against uh
Oh dear
Fukigen
God.
Death
Oh. Well,
because
they might.
what they'll do is that it'll just be the beginning of the match. Will be Fukigen Death and Saki Kashima doing funny stuff, and the rest will
Yeah.
be boring.
Do you know, I'm gonna lift the lid a little bit. Velke had the gall to say this was a good card earlier. And I
Yeah,
was
he did.
like, this is literally
If you
awful.
combined some of the stuff from both of the cards, it's a good card. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. But then you couldn't
Like,
have most of the matches. So
correct.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know what
yeah.
he was smoking. I don't know what they'd be doing over there in Eastern Europe, but yeah, I'm exposing him publicly for this because that was bad.
That's what he gets. He gets a 3-hour episode and he gets made fun of it during it.
Good. Yeah, that's what he deserves. Anyway, we have Micah and Megan Bain versus Sayori Ano and Yuna Mizumori because they seem to want to attach Micah and Ano at the hips lately.
Uh-oh.
So they just keep wrestling.
Micah needs to stay the fuck away from every other champion because she does not win any of these head-to-heads. Maybe against Anna,
No,
but
I think Ano just outclasses anyone, but I don't know. We then have a main event. It is a Goddess of Stardom Championship match. Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamatani versus Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sarah.
we're
That is
back.
interesting.
We're
When was
back
the
to
last
the
time
house
they
show
did a title match on a house show?
outside
I
of Korkauen.
feel like it was Mafia Bella versus I Love Tokyo Sports.
Are we talking about outside of
Outside of Cork, and of course, yeah.
Korkauen?
I think it was the Mafia Bella one.
Against who?
Oh, I Love Tokyo Sports. We Love Tokyo Sports.
None of them
Didn't
were
Mafia Bella
champions.
have the tag belts?
No.
What?
The last house show tag team championship match was New Eras versus FWC 30-minute draw in this arena.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It
Oh
was
my
awful.
god.
And that's
There
besides
was
obviously the Korkauen stuff.
definitely a Mafia Bella match for
That
tag
was
belts in
against
Osaka.
Black Desire in Osaka a few months before that.
Oh, that was good. I remember that being
That was
good.
good. Yes, that was
Okay.
good.
Why did I think it was I Love Tokyo Sports? That's
Why would
strange.
they? Yeah, they challenged somebody for
I thought
belts.
Mafia Bella had the tag belts. That's
No,
why.
they never won the tag belts.
Okay. But yeah, Utami and Saya are retaining here.
Or
I
they
had
go
a
to a draw. I hope they don't. But
I would actually lose faith.
I know. I
Um,
do not want to see a Suzu Miss Air 30-minute draw,
I,
honestly.
I had an
Because they're both
interesting
great. I
point
don't think
that I
they
was
need
going
it.
to bring up earlier, but at this point, I don't think
Just
I
say
want to.
it.
Okay. I feel like since Harada left for Okada, the new president, not Kazuchika Okada, there's been a bit more emphasis on putting actual substance on the shows.
Mhm.
Like the two Karkens since then decided, well, two of the three Karkens had like number one contenders matches. The other one had preview tags. This Osaka Edion 2 show has preview tags. Then you have this tag match. There was the tag tournament in Osaka the other day, or Nagoya.
Yeah, Nagoya.
It feels like there's a concerted effort to do more to like encourage people to attend shows, and I feel like that can only end well because Stardom did used to pepper in the odd kind of cool match on house shows, and they kind of stopped doing that after a while. So yeah, I think this might be a new regime thing where they're like, hey, like do stuff, put stuff on
Mhm.
shows. Not like in Anjo or anything, but in Osaka, in Edion number two.
In Nagoya and Osaka and
Corkin
Tokyo and
especially. I mean, they've
yeah.
definitely revamped the Corkins a little bit. So
No, and I'm very happy with that. That was probably my main thing that I was like, they need to do this. Uh, Now the thing that goes along with that is a strong Stardom world. So I hope that we get to watch
Mhm.
this match before we record next week. Is my point.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that was a great point I just made. We would have discussed it if this was earlier and we were not in like
Yeah,
hour 2.5.
I
So
mean, like you're right. And I hope they keep going. I mean, I've been saying I think there should be like a wonder match on a Korkin every blue moon. You know what I mean? Not like every Korkin, but like oh, Jesus, I hit my mic, sorry. But every once in a while I don't see why, a smaller white belt defense can't go on a Korkin show or whatever. Like I think and high speed matches and shit like that. Like they definitely have room for them on these house shows, quote unquote. Uh I don't know. I think it'd be cool if they keep this up. But again, they need to make sure that they go up in a timely manner because if they don't, then it's kind of pointless, ain't it?
yeah, I mean, listen, Stardom World has been quite the quite the bane of our existence for a little bit. Um, and honestly, I'm so all over the place today. I didn't even have time to mention how ass backwards it has been for Stardom to keep pushing international fans away and then run in America. Um,
Yeah.
they have made no attempts to embrace the international audience, and now we're like, hey, show up to 2300 Arena. And it's going to sell well through sheer willpower of the fan base. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting when it was announced. I was like, wow, you've really given us nothing and are running a show. That is incredible. Um, so yeah, Stardom World.
I think that's
You got
called
to get better.
slay queening. They
I
gave
don't
us
know.
nothing, and they're still profiting from it.
There's a good way of no. That's not giving us nothing. It's you. There's you go girl, give us nothing, and then there's you are giving us nothing, and they are the
Okay.
latter.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't know the difference. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
yes. Stay out of it. Stay out of it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's everything because I'm about to fall asleep.
Homie is pooped.
Yeah,
Homie
it's
is
been a long day.
eepy.
I'm all over the place. So it was nice. This was fun. I do enjoy this. Um, there's a chance I won't be here in like 2 weeks. I've already told Dylan about this. He knows he's
I
probably
do know.
planning a special show that's going to wreck my brain with like him and Velke and some other chatterbox, and I will have to edit like 4 hours of audio, and I will have to resist the urge to call
Yeah.
Dylan very mean names. So
Shouts out to some other chatterbox.
he does not get the respect of his name being uttered.
Oh, does he still listen to this all the way through? Is he gonna hear that?
Does anybody?
I don't know. Velke.
Velke
Velke
and
does.
maybe Eternal.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
people in the Discord, basically.
yeah,
They
pretty much.
they they are diehards. But anyway, yes, thank you for listening. We will be back next week to review. I've closed down the schedule. I don't even have the schedule in front of me anymore. We will
We will
review.
review the tag team title matches and the prelude tags, and we will
Yes.
preview the Stardom Awards in Takadana Baba. They have a doubleheader there,
Wow, incredible.
and we
they
will
do
predict who wins the awards.
No, we won't. Don't.
Yes, we
Don't do
will.
that. No.
Yes, we will.
There's not a chance.
We're
You're
going
getting
to
me.
do that,
No.
Alex. We're doing that. Everybody bombard Alex with statements saying you want us to give our awards and well, should we do our awards or our predictions of the awards? We were going to do like a 2023 award thing. We just
We
didn't have
were,
time.
and then you didn't want to record any day over the past week when I wanted to record.
You just wanted to talk about DDM. Like you are not giving the people.
I was open to recording an awards show. I very much was like, we should do one, and you just didn't pick up on it.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but the busiest week in Japanese professional wrestling happened. Not bad.
Okay. Well, you still gotta make time for the people. Do you not care about the people, Dylan?
We could do it next week, Alex.
But I no longer
when they
have
do their
the time.
award.
I no longer have the time.
You have the time.
No,
With
I
their house
don't.
shows. We are doing house shows next week. It's nothing but house shows. You know, Paul's actually laughed at the fact that we still watch Stardom house shows. He was like, "How? How do you do that?" That's where we're at next week. Stardom
Pulse
house
of
show.
all people is questioning my life choices. This is how
Yeah.
far I've sunk.
Yes. So we will be doing our awards next week to accompany
Just
the
stop
Stardom
saying
Awards
that.
2023 in
People are gonna
Takadana Baba.
expect it. Dylan,
And
stop.
they should.
Dylan, stop. Please. I can't do this. Okay, we'll be back next week. We'll preview the Takadana Baba shows. They usually do something cool on those shows, so look forward to them. But with that, it is time to close the show. If you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Ijo.
Yo.